3, 2. Oh my God.
Yo, what's up?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program.
The Airtime Podcast is presented by Van Shoes since 1966.
There's nothing fake about it. Have something to believe in and be yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Airtime, y'all podcast.
Yes, sir.
All right, today's guest is one of the most naturally talented snowboarders and skateboarders that I've ever laid eyes on. One of my favorite styles ever. I actually grew up with this guest, and it's been an absolute fucking pleasure to watch his career unfold. Style, personality, I mean, it echoed across the globe. My childhood hero, close friend, Andrew Geeves. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. That was a very nice introduction you had for me.
I always feel like I could do a better job, but
It was good, dude. It was good.
Nice. Thanks. All right. Well, you came down from Bralorne. Maybe we'll touch on where's Bralorne, what is Bralorne, what are you doing up there?
Excuse me. Bralorne is a small town tucked away in the mountains. 2-hour car ride over the Hurley Pass, so down to Pemberton Meadows and up over the Hurley. And it's a super small town. It was huge in the 1930s for gold mining, one of the biggest gold mines in North America. And now it's actually considered a ghost town, but the mine is active again, which is great for the locals that live up there. They have jobs and everything, has been for a while. But yeah, it's a super cool town. Not much is going on there other than outdoor shit. No concrete streets, really. It's just all dirt. And it's really cool because it's got a huge piece in Canadian history for gold mining. So it's kind of a special place for sure.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
I
fucking love it.
Like you are nestled up there. And your folks are up there, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, they are. They bought it. They bought that place 13 years ago. And yeah, I've been going up ever since. And yeah, I actually lived up there for 1 year before they moved up. So they had their place in Winnipeg. And then, yeah, I ended up just moving up there. I think that was right when I was getting into backcountry. So kind of felt right to be up there. But also a stupid move on my part because I had no one to snowboard with. So.
Welcome to my first video episode. What's on the agenda? I don't really know. I'm going to go outside and see what we kind of have to do out here. Just going to throw this log on real quick. I'll get right back to you. Thanks for tuning in.
Dude, you pioneered like selfie videos. like they were incredible. Like you were riding handrails by yourself and selfie filming them from like, like set up a camera before the iPhone and then film you like 50-50 the rail in the morning.
Yeah, I had like just super small little point and shoot camera, like super shitty one. And yeah, that's kind of like lost my mind out there a little bit. So I tried to be productive and whatnot, but I did a couple of like webisodes or some shit called Bralorne Living. They're pretty fucking brutal.
What's up, everyone? So just got a frontside board down this little rail here in front of my yard. Pretty stoked. Supposed to snowboard tonight, so that'll be more episodes for you guys on Bralorne Living. Not much to do out here, so you kind of got to make the best of what you got.
But
no way, dude. Those episodes are amazing. Like the cup of coffee in the morning and like you like talk to the cam. It was like it's wild how ahead of its time that was. Because now that's like everybody just films themselves do everything.
Yeah.
You were just like, well, I'm going to go up to this little small mountain town and I'm just going to film myself. Because, I mean, you did have like a pretty big, you had some big sponsorship deals back then at the time. And that was pretty different to be like, nah, I'm not going to. Yeah. I'm actually going to go up to this remote town and hang.
I don't think my sponsors were too stoked for sure. Because I just wanted to ride backcountry, but being out there, it just wasn't the smartest move I made. But I'm happy I did it just because it was a learning experience and just being up there alone. Like it was kind of shocking for me too, because I didn't really know how to live alone up there. I had no friends. I was just kicking it with like old miners, like old fucking drunk miners. And Yeah, there wasn't too many people that were snowboarding. I don't think there was anyone that was really snowboarding when I was up there. So I'd go out with a couple skiers. Kind of just did it on my own out there.
I kind of like when I'm in the middle of nowhere, and if you're not in a rush, you give somebody the time of day.
Yeah.
And if you're up there, you're up there. And if you're hanging out with a couple old miners, I mean, there's a lot to learn from everybody. You sit there and talk to some old miners. They got some stories. They got some wisdom.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're down to share if you're down to listen.
Yeah. And there's the stories that come from there are just insane, you know, so it's not a hardship listening to a fucking drunk miner spit some old Bralorne wisdom on you.
Have you ever like walked down some of the rivers and been like, there's probably some gold in there?
Dude, all the time. All the time. There's still some people that own claims up there that I don't know if they got shut down or whatever, but I seen like an old dredge there and an old gold pan for sifting that shit. And yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Like all the history. I really like it. You know, there's actually a book called The Golden Years or The Great Years, and it's all about like the rise and demise of Bralorne, how it came about with like the first people to come and open up the mine and everything. And there was actually like a couple thousand people that lived up there at one point. So it wasn't always a super shitty rundown town, you know. And I mean that in the nicest way. Anyone that's listening from Bralorne, it's not shitty, but you guys know what I mean. It's an old mining town, you know. More and more people are moving up there, younger people. So it's super cool for the little scene up there. You know, it's nice to go mingle with some people your age for sure.
Totally. And I mean, I think it's important to not dance around. I think a lot of people know that over the course of your career, they may or may not know that you have, struggled with some addiction.
Yep.
And I think that maybe we could kick this off with just like, you're in Bralorne right now.
Yeah,
You've been
sure.
clean for like a long time.
Yep.
Maybe touch on that chapter and this mission to sobriety and what that's been like.
So those of you who probably know that it's no secret that pretty big party guy and have been my whole life. I guess I moved up to Bralorne because I asked my parents for help, and I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired all the time, and I really just wanted to finally, go for it and try and fully kick the monkey off my back, because it was getting pretty bad for a while, and was drinking a lot every day and doing lots of cocaine for a while. And, eventually you just kind of hit a point where you don't want that lifestyle anymore. I've been doing it all for like 20 years now and managed to get by. But I've been kind of operating for the past like 2-3 years on 50% of my full capacity, whether I'm hungover or fucking still drunk or high. I'm able to go skateboarding. I'm able to go to work. I'm able to do the stepfather things, and I just kind of, I don't know, man, it gets tiring, and I just really wanted a break for good, I don't know if that sounds, it's hard for me to explain, but yeah, so I moved up to Bralorne. I asked my parents for help and if I could move up to Bralorne for just a winter, I kind of figured that time away from everything and just kind of finding myself again and reconnecting with the mountains. I mean, it sounds very cheesy, but I do think nature heals, and being back in the mountains, it really rekindled my love for snowboarding in the mountains. And it was super good. It was really refreshing. And I didn't really think that I was ever going to come back. But, I think that everything happens for a reason. And I had to hit that low point to get to this next chapter of my life, which I'm super stoked for. And yeah, along with that came snowboarding again and riding powder, and yeah, I don't know.
I love you, first off, dog. And
Yeah.
seriously, I as somebody who's been there for the whole journey, I'm so happy that you're making these steps, man. And
Yeah.
as somebody who has lots of friends that are on this journey, and I mean, I lost one of my closest cousins to addiction, and it just, when you get older and you see somebody that's truly tired of partying and you know it's not fun for them anymore.
Yeah.
And it used to be so fun.
It used to be so fun,
It was
you know.
fun.
Yeah.
And then when I know you're not having fun, it kills me. I know it kills you, it kills your parents, and I just knew that you were so exhausted. And from the bottom of my heart, man, I'm so fucking happy that you're on this path. And I
Yeah.
know it's not just like, oh, now I'm just sober forever and I'm fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's a journey. But, like, there's so many people that, dude, there's nobody that's met you that doesn't love. Your personality is, like, one of the most infectious, you're one of the most caring and loving people I've ever met. And whether or not somebody's gotten bad taste one time because you were fucked up,
Probably.
like, that's an alter ego.
Yeah.
And, man, this chapter is going to be fucking absolutely incredible for you. And I love that you touched on the importance of nature playing into this whole thing, because I really feel like, you know, you move to Bralorne and you immerse yourself back into nature. I see what you're doing every day. Like, you're posting yourself going on these, like, walks in
Yeah.
nature by yourself. It's like literally like the smartest thing that you could do for yourself is to just get away, be in the mountains, spending time with nature, reconnecting.
I'm pretty sure like people would pay good money for that kind of rehab, you know? So I'm really fortunate to have my parents
Totally.
up there, and we're on, you know, they're my family, man. And, you know, they got my back and I love them so much. They've been nothing but great to me, you know, and I'd be pretty lost without them, I think. So shout out mom and dad.
Shout out to mom and dad. So what's your biggest motivation to maintain sobriety? Like, when you're struggling, like, what's the thing that's in the back of your head that's you keep saying to yourself, like, what's your why? What's like your purpose?
Well, there's so many people involved now, which makes it's awesome because it pushes me. But that's the scary thing too, because you don't want to like let people down, you know, and I let myself down. So like, I'll be honest, I had a relapse shortly after my last visit from when I came down to Whistler. I came back up to Bralorne, and there was just some things that, you know, life things, and those of you probably know we haven't had like the best winter, so I was just kind of like felt kind of trapped up there, and then I really I wasn't hanging out with anyone like other than my parents and the two people I was riding with. I just kind of got lonely, and there was, you know, there's only so much seclusion you can take. A little bit. Like, I just was like fucking kind of going crazy up there. So I decided to go to this bonfire out of this trapper's cabin there, and I brought 5 non-alcoholic beers. And, you know, I made the mistake of going up there and not having an escape plan. You know what I mean? If shit does hit the fan, if I start to get weird, and you know, because like anxiety hits, and there's so many different factors that can come in and fuck your shit up, you know, and just throw you, like, one minute you're fine, the next you're like kind of tweaking out. They're like, especially with the people that you surround yourself too with. So I thought it'd be more like Bralorne locals, but it was actually some people that I didn't know, and they're awesome people, but I just, you know,
Their journey's not yours.
it's not mine. And you know, so I finished my 5 beers. It's a long walk back, you know, a couple hours walk back. So I wasn't going to do that. Wasn't dressed for it. And I didn't want to ask my ride to drive me home, even though he even though he would have. But yeah, I finished, I drank my 5 beers, and then I didn't know what to do with my hands.
Louis C.K.
Yeah.
Totally stoned in the groups.
And I just seen like a bunch of beer sitting beside me, so I grabbed a beer and I ran away. I didn't want anyone to see me drink it, so I just straight up just stole it and fucking ran to the woods and slammed it. And then I felt okay. But then with that, felt the sinking feeling of, oh, there goes your 115 days or whatever it was, which is just like, oh man, the feeling of that is, I can't explain that.
So you were 115 days?
I think, or maybe even more than that, which I like, regardless of my relapse, I'm still proud of myself. And now I'm over 30 days now. So I have to start over, but it's not easy, that's for sure. But I'm learning more and more about how to deal with it, big time trial and error on that one. But, it's about keeping yourself busy and productive and, and always have an exit strategy. You don't want to be fucking trapped somewhere where you don't want to be, because that is not a good feeling. You got to
limit your triggers. There's a lot of things.
There's so many things, and like this is going to be a lifelong battle for me, but I'm definitely making the commitment, and I will go back to AA, I guess, when I get back, even though I fucking hate AA.
Why don't you like AA?
Just, I've had such bad experiences there. Like, I feel like I'm just singled out right away, and by that fucking one, there's like always that one guy in there that he gets off on being the fixer, being the sponsor guy, like I don't like that shit. When this guy I don't even fucking know is coming up to me, asking me all these questions, really personal questions, and I'm just supposed to fucking tell him just because I'm in AA. It's like, back the fuck up, dude. Like, mind your own business. Like, let me come a few times first.
Totally.
He's like buying me the 12-step Bible or whatever the fuck it, and it's like really religious, but it's okay. Like, I don't mind it like that, because you can always think of like, replace God with a higher up of something. Fuck, you could put your dog in there or whatever, Like,
yeah, but it's all in the approach.
The
You know
approach,
what I mean?
and that really fucked me up. And it seems like every time I went, there's always some dude, and there's weirdos in AA too that'll like try and take advantage of you, and just,
And yeah, that one's fucking tricky, because those things are supposed to be there to help you.
Yeah.
And if there's a way that they can become a negative, it's so counterintuitive, and you're like, I'm trying to get better, but like the way that this person, this healer, is approaching is not aligning with me, and he's just in my space. He's in my bubble. Like,
get the fuck out of my bubble, dude. I don't even know you. Like, yeah.
And everybody has a different way of opening up about those things, and every single person's situation should be treated like kind of unique.
Yeah.
Instead of like, welcome, Jeeves. Like, what was the lowest you've ever been? Do you want to share? And you're like, dude, I just sat down in this fucking chair.
That's exactly how it was too. And I really liked the place that I was going to as well. So it was it fucking pissed me off, because there was a skate park right across the street. So I could go on Mondays.
It's like, this place is perfect.
Yeah, and I could go skate, and it was like super cool, because I was trying to relearn how to skate without booze, booze and drugs, because it's not snowboarding so much. Like, I didn't really, when I would film snowboarding, it was a lot more professional, right? And you go in the backcountry, not fucking bringing a 0.5 gram of Coke and fucking 6-pack of beer, like,
totally.
You're not doing that.
Hopefully not.
When you're skating street, there's
no rules.
There's no rules, really. Like,
you're in the city.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I feel like, if you really want it. But where was I going with that?
I don't know. I personally, just kudos to you, and I like that that you articulated at the beginning of that you were like, listen, I was out on 115 days sober. I fucked up. And now I'm 30 days sober, but I'm still going to pat myself on the back, because
it's hard to even do that, because
you
like,
though.
I fucking beat myself up, dude. I spent like 3 days after that, just like, fuck that. Yeah. I didn't even want to do the podcast, to be honest, because of that. Like, I told my buddy Sam, shout out Sam Land. He's fucking awesome dude. Wicked skater. Good homie. he's like, dude, I just listened to John Fitzgerald's podcast, and he talks about the same thing. He did like 5 years sober, and then one day just relapsed, and then did 3 years sober, and then one day relapsed. So it's like, it's not.
Day by day.
Day by day. I know. It fucking sucks though, because like, you know, I was on a good streak, man.
Yeah, totally. You
know?
were. But now you're on again.
I'm on it again. Yeah, for sure. And I know more now, you know, like I know how to handle things a little differently.
Like, what did you learn from the relapse?
What I learned from the relapse? Always have an escape plan, you know. Oh, don't, if you think that, if you're uncomfortable already going into a situation, but you just want to go test the waters, kind of make sure you got a ride out of there, or be able, like, if you feel unsafe or like you feel like an urge, you need a way to get the fuck out of there and into your safe place, whatever that is, your home or wherever, you know. So that's what I learned, you know, like, because it's tough. I don't want to just like hermit and not see anyone, you know, and I've been doing that all fucking winter up there, you know, but it's been really good having snowboarding. And I have 2 friends, Ryan Oakton and Shane Carmichael, that I've been going out with, and they're great. They're like 2 older brothers to me, kind of, in the sense that they took me around to all their good shit and helped me out with, you know, whatever I need. So.
Well, I mean, first of all, just pat yourself on the back, dude. You gotta be like rooting for you. Like, if 180 days ago you saw where you are, you would be like you said, November, you were spiraling like you've never spiraled before, or whenever that was. It's like, if you could see where you are now, that's impossible. One day in like 180 days, dude. Like, I
was saying that the other day. I'm like, man, like if I asked myself a year ago if I could ever go 115 days, I'd fucking laugh.
What was the biggest stint
for me
beforehand?
The biggest stint, the longest I've ever gone in my life, dude, was 24 days. And that was after that incident up in Bralorne where I almost died. So,
what was that about?
So I went on a crazy bender here in Whistler, like 2 or 3 days, no sleep, and then brought my fucking coke dealer and this chick I was banging out to Bralorne. Drove over the Hurley with fucking, you know, and it was snowing. I remember that. It was like, we drove over the Hurley like last call in a car. There was like snow coming over the fucking, get out there. And then my parents, obviously, they knew right away. They were pissed, like really mad at me. And then I decided, I'm like, let's go up to the trapper's cabin, you know? And I'm like, hop on the snowmobile. We like trandomed up to the fucking, to this trapper's cabin. And then we partied up there. I broke the choke off the fucking Tundra. And I was just too messed up to realize like you just had to pull it up, you know? So I did the big walk back, like 2 hour, I don't know, however long it took me, an hour and a half down. But I came up in a fucking Adidas tracksuit, right? No, it was like December or whatever it was. It was December or something like that. So I walked back down to go get help, and I didn't go get help. I fucking just looked for more drugs when I got back. I got a 60-pounder of vodka and Xanaxes. I found Xannies, and I don't know, like I don't fuck with that shit, you know, but I just, when you're on one, and that meant you just more, whatever. I'm invincible, fucking straight Hunter S. Thompson styles, you know, like, so took that. I took the girl's car. I don't even know what the fuck I was doing with the car, but I crashed her car trying to drive up to the cabin apparently, and then walked back up, but my dad seen me take the car. So thank God he seen that, because he kind of, his spidey senses were tingling, and like, he's like, okay. So he followed me up. He seen the car was crashed, and then he follows the footprints. It was snowing like crazy. And then he finds me about halfway up to the trapper's cabin, in the snow head first with the 60-pounder of vodka, and with like close to hypothermia. And it just wakes me up, shaking me, slapping me. I why are you doing this to us? You know, and that was a long time ago. And so after that, I tried to quit, you know, and I did 24 days. So that's the longest I've ever gone, you know, and you'd think I'd learned my lesson, but yeah.
You can't beat yourself up on the past. You know what I mean?
No, I know that. I know.
And I think that, like, you're taking all the steps that you need to take right now. Like, maybe you didn't in the past, but as of right now, your friend right now, today, you've shown up. You've shown up. Check mark.
Yeah.
That's a green day, baby. We're going to go for some steak after this with our friend Rob.
Yeah.
You're going to
Shout
get up
out
to
LeMay.
And that, like, you're on.
I'm going to keep it going too, man. Like, I just have to say, like, I love waking up early. I love feeling fresh. I've been healthy as fuck, eating good. I actually put on 15 pounds.
You look good, dude.
Thanks. Yeah, I was skinny as fuck before, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You know, my teeth were kind of fucked up, and yeah, it wasn't a good look for me, that's for sure.
No, it wasn't a good look at all, dude. Andrew.
I don't think it's a good look on anyone, really.
Dude, and the way you have to look at your life, and I say this all the time on the podcast, is like, you're the main character in the movie.
Yeah.
And you're looking at yourself right now, and you are winning. You're right now, this part of the movie is like, dude, you are headed in the right direction. You slipped up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's like,
I'm not happy about that, dude. Obviously, like, fuck, I'm still
one day out of 180, dude.
I'm still coping with like the guilt, you know? Like, I feel really fucking guilty, but I mean, I don't know.
What's that going to benefit?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? You really need to look at your entire life that you've ever done anything wrong and just be like, that's not who I am anymore. It's just not who you are. You're on a new fucking mission.
Yeah, for sure.
You
And
know what I
I'm
mean?
so excited, you know, for the future. You know, like with the business I started, like if I was running at 50% capacity and still being able to skate and do all that shit, like all, you know, work, skate, handle family shit, dude, it's going to be such a great life.
Yeah,
you know, I'm looking forward to like making goals, like start saving. You know, I would like to buy a property in Quebec and buy a little tiny home on it and pretty much emulate Michael Chuck's. Like, that's my goal. Like a Quebec Michael Chuck's, you know, where.
What has Michael Chuck got going on that you really like in his yard?
Oh, dude, well, his whole place is amazing, but I just love the fact that, you know, he's got the weddings going on that's paying for, you know, a lot of shit. Like, for me, if I were to buy property, it would have to be near water. Like, my whole vision is something like, you know, 5 or 6 cool tiny homes individually on a property, separated by trees, with a cool pathway, with like a cool zone that you could have like a wedding at, and then maybe like a little trail that goes down to the river where a ceremony could be or something.
So you've been visualizing this kind of thing?
Yeah, for a while now. Yeah.
That's sick. I mean, visualization, I think, is super important.
Yeah.
You need to know where you're going. You need to have like an idea.
Like we were talking about earlier, is manifesting, you know?
If you don't have a target, you don't know where to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you have a good idea of where you want to head, it doesn't need to be exactly, but if you have a rough idea of like, this is the direction I really want to push into, like, it's just going to happen. It's just, if you identify with Andrew the partier who makes everybody laugh at 3 a.m, you'll be that person forever.
Yeah.
If you identify as the person who's like, I want to show up for my chick, I want to show up for my stepdaughter, my parents, I want to fucking do X, Y, and Z, you're going to do that.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's
like, the mind is so powerful. Yeah. That is crazy. Like,
well, I think that, like, talking about this, like, I think I manifested everything in my life, like even the rise and fall of my career, you know, like, I really wanted to be, I felt like it was necessary for me to be like one of the last men standing in the raw party dudes, you know, like I looked up to obviously the Wildcats forever. And so it's just funny how things work. 'Cause like, it's too bad I wasn't manifesting, you know, something else, because maybe that would have been better. But
I mean, it would have been better for some parts of it, but like, your journey is your journey.
They got a fuckload of stories.
Yeah, totally. And a fuckload of wisdom. You know, there's one thing I would say that a lot of people who I feel like have been through addiction and have gotten out the other side, I think that if you sat down with a lot of ex-addicts that are now fully sober, there's some serious wisdom in them. Like they've been through it.
For sure.
They've been through the lowest of low. They know, like, if you have been so rock bottom and then you are now fully away from that and sober and clean, like, you've been to the depths of hell and back. Like, you know, like, there's a lot of wisdom in that journey. Like, you don't just learn nothing.
Definitely hit a few rock bottoms, and hopefully the last one was, you know, the big one, because I don't know how many more rock bottoms I got.
0.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there might be a couple slip ups in the row. We're not even going to manifest that. We're going
No,
clean
fuck
slate.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
no, clean slate.
Clean slate. Okay, so we're not going to spend the whole podcast talking about addiction, because there's way more to your story. But maybe to just summarize this entire chapter, to somebody that is struggling, that is, you know, on their journey where they might know they're partying a bit too much, or maybe they're just starting to dabble. Do you have any advice for those people?
Don't even do it. You know, like, it's, especially if you're dabbling at a later age, you know, like, it took me 20 fucking years to really realize that I have pretty serious fucking addiction issues, you know. So my advice would go snowboarding, eat healthy. You know, it sounds fucking cheesy, but like, it's not all it's cracked up to be. You know, whatever. I don't know what to say. I'm still dealing with it myself, but yeah, like, it's weird to even talk about, because the old me would be like, yeah, try everything once, but no, don't do that. Don't do that. Just stay clear. There's so many other things that you could use your money for, and you know, especially if you're living out here. One thing I've noticed is how fucking beautiful it is out here. You know, like, I was talking to Dara early on about that, and it's kind of like the dream place, you know. And I think that I definitely took living out here for granted, big time, for the last half of my 15 years. You know, kind of when I stopped snowboarding, pretty much, because we both know that I wasn't doing much of that by the end of it.
Yeah, and then it's so funny to me though that it does stem from, I just want to experiment with this because maybe you're insecure, maybe you don't think that you're that funny, or maybe you're not, you know, hooking up with like a girl or a guy. So you're like, I stay up a little bit later, I'm a little bit funnier, so I'm going to dabble in this. And there are hilarious jokes that come with partying, and like funny, it all starts off funny and fun, but it's like a casino. It's designed for the house to win and you lose. Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know anyone that's really making it out unscathed. Yeah. But just one more thing, I guess, how I got into it, I was very young. I think I was 14 years old, and I was at, like, I think my first house party. And I'm not going to mention who I was with or whatever, but there was a CD case passed back to me when I was fucking hammered drunk off probably some shitty Jack Daniels or something like that, you know. But I sniffed this line off a fucking CD case, and boom, I was back in the game. So I used it as a crutch from 14. A crutch for my drinking from when I was, 14 till, lately. 180 days ago.
180 days ago.
You mentioned earlier that you're a product of your environment. You know what I mean? Like, you start skating and it's around, and it's almost like the late 90s, early 2000s was the boom of like glorifying partying, like CKY, Jackass, Wildcats. Sure. And it was just like, get fucking crazy with your friends. Yeah. And do crazy shit and make your friends fucking laugh. Mm-hmm. And you know how you do that? You get a bunch of 16-year-olds together and you start chugging Jack Daniels and stuff. And when you live in the heart of Winnipeg and you start doing that, someone's going to show up with some crazy shit that's not Jack Daniels one time. Yeah. Yeah, there was always hard drugs around me growing up. I hung out with some, some pretty rough dudes. Yeah. And, I got the fuck out of there. Once I got kicked out of high school, I didn't have much going on for me, So I told my dad, like, I'm going to make a go out of snowboarding, and if it doesn't work, come back. But it worked. So
I'm super grateful for that. Yeah.
I'll never forget when you came and stayed with there's a
Andy
whole
Larkin.
Yeah, it was like me, Andy, and Chris, and you were
and
like,
Matt
I'm just gonna visit for like, and then you told your parents that you were gonna visit for like 2 weeks, if I'm getting the story correct. And then you were like, I'm not fucking leaving. And I was like, what do you mean you're not leaving? You're in grade like 10. You're like, I'm not going home.
No, I got nothing. Yeah, that was awesome. Remember that Matt guy on the deck? He built the mini ramp.
Yeah,
like for snowboarding
in the backyard.
Yeah,
yeah. With the coach in the back.
I was just so mesmerized by the whole scene here when I came out. I think you were too. Like, it was like everyone's on the same page. Everyone's just here to ride and party and have fun, and it was like just such a cool time. Yeah,
it really was. I think that we're going to steer gears here, and we're going to hit on an important chapter that we skipped over. Winnipeg, skateboarding. Skateboarding is a huge part of who you are to the core. Maybe touch on who your favorite skateboarder in Winnipeg was and who your favorite pros were growing up.
Okay. There's a few. Obviously, Crawley, rest in peace, Jason Crawley.
Yeah, rest in peace.
But, Crawley had that crazy style. Skate a lot of big handrails and shit like that. I did a lot of skating with him too, filming the last skate part I filmed for chapter 1, or I don't know, one of the skates videos. But I probably Crawley. I want to say Crawley or Mike McDermott for sure.
Great skaters.
Yeah, and like so rad. That whole like Winnipeg had such a sick crew back in the day. I feel like Ryan McWigan, like the whole Green Apple crew. Yeah, I would always fan out on McD for sure, because Crawley was my homie. Like he was so nice to me. Yeah, I loved filming with him. I wore his hammer gloves once.
No way.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, did you wear the hammer
for the hard flip in chapter 1 at Taxation Big 3? He like lent me. I was wearing a beak toque as well.
Nice, like 2001 Forum,
yeah.
4-square beanie or something.
Yeah, a beak toque, and then Crawley's hammer gloves.
Okay, so then let's touch on some of your pro skaters that were outside of Winnipeg that influenced you, because I mean, you look at your snowboard approach, you definitely had some big skate influence to your your whole life.
Absolutely, yeah. Everything skateboarding I think is just important to snowboarding. I think you got to at least have a good push. Like if you're fucking snowboarding and you can't even push properly, I don't know.
Minimum.
A minimum. Like that's not asking for much.
Agree.
Realistically, you should be able to fucking bust out.
Yeah, kickflip back tail.
Or no, well, that's a bit much. But like do a proper ollie or some shit. But so the question is, my favorite skaters growing up.
Yeah, what's a handful of your favorite skaters?
I grew up on Girl and Chocolate videos. So I really liked Gino, obviously. Like all Sheffy, Carol, Howard, like the whole team. But I also really liked the old Transworld videos too, and I liked Shorty's team as well. But Girl and Chocolate team for me were like Mouse and Goldfish were really good videos. I enjoyed those.
Let's pick one skater you think that had the biggest, one pro skater that had the biggest impact.
That's a hard one.
Oh, it is.
I gotta have to think. You gotta give me a minute here. I don't want to.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, because this is important.
Yeah. And there's some big skate heads that are just like waiting right now. Like, who's he gonna say? You're like Corey Duffel. What the fuck?
Birdhouse Reynolds, like the end, that part. Like I had that on repeat a lot, and like just his style in it was so sick. Like super baggy pants, his boxers like super high, and like his tricks like his haircut even was sick. So yeah, just everything he did was so good, dude. Yeah, I'd have to say Reynolds, the end. Birdhouse 1998.
fucking good breakdown. I'm gonna add that like to the YouTube section. We're gonna get some Reynolds clips playing over
From
that.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I really liked it too because it was all filmed with 16.
Really?
Yeah, the whole video was
That's
filmed with
a weird time to be filming 16.
right?
Nobody was
And
filming.
then they had to dub in the noises to the grinds and the pop and everything. That was back then. So I thought that was super cool because it definitely looked different than any other videos that I was
didn't know
watching.
that.
Yeah, the whole video is Super 16. So it was all film. And I wanted, like, who the fuck filmed it? Like, J Moss?
But Mouse or whatever.
Yeah, Mouse. I think. Double check that.
I'm gonna have to double check.
Or I just got to add one more, like probably Carol too. Mike Carroll for close second or first, like between them. Yeah.
Did you do varial flips when you were a kid, or was that illegal?
No, that was always illegal. Always. But now it's fucking okay. It's like it really just goes to show you can make anything look good, I think.
It is wild to
Like
see
a
how many
good varial
tricks.
flip, that's fucking takes skill to do that.
Do you like it to look like a pop shove it and then a kick flip?
You got to fucking pop those. You got to pop it. Quick flick. Yeah, I don't know. Like I would just not do them, but
Who's got the best pop in skating?
Mr. Steal Your Board. His name's Kyle something. He's from the UK.
The
Crazy.
Tiago guy's got fucking
Oh yeah,
crazy
yeah,
pop.
Tiago for sure. But everyone's gonna say Tiago.
Yeah, totally. It's like
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna do my buddy Mael that I've been skating with, the little guy.
that guy's got crazy snap.
Yeah, he's
He got good style too.
dude. He's fucking so good. If he actually tried, he would be something for sure. I think. Like, it's not that he doesn't try, but he's just like he's kind of whatever about it,
Do you think if you actually tried in skating, you could have taken a shot at it?
Well, I had a kind of an opportunity way back in the day when I rode for 4-Star. So I rode for Forum and Special Blend, and then they also did Circa. So Dominique Morissette and Mark were like, do you want to be a skater or a snowboarder? Because I was kind of doing both.
So
and then I chose snowboarding.
Because it was easier or what?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and I was clearly way better. And I think after I did the switchback heel down Woodsworth, I didn't skate. Like, I was 14 when I did that, and I couldn't skate for like 2 weeks, and that's being 14. So like jumping down a nine stair, is it? Jumping down a 9 for like 2.5 hours just rocked me, and I think I was like, that was it for me. I'm like, fuck. I'm good now. Got a staple trick here. Like,
I remember when you landed that, you came onto MSN after, and we were chatting on MSN, and you were like, I just switched back heeled Woodsworth. And I was just like, what the fuck? I like literally went to my school and told everybody. I was like, that's a standout Winnipeg moment in the skate history books, I think
so, especially for the time. Like, that was
your age.
Yeah, yes, the age too, but for the time there wasn't too many technical tricks going down it. I don't think. Not that I remember. Maybe I think Kevin McCoubry tray flipped it, maybe. I don't know if I'm just botching that, but I think shortly after that, I think that kind of opened up a whole can of smackdown on that shit,
Everyone's like, oh wait, we
can do it now.
Yeah, we can do anything on this.
Yeah.
And now it's
they were. There's a lot of good kids around that came up shortly after that.
You got a best trick on Woodsworth for the Winnipeg listeners right now?
Eric Penton actually had a real fresh approach to it. He just fucking ollied, like, came in, instead of hitting the handrail, he just hung a hard left and fucking popped the whole handrail to flat into the loading dock side.
Damn.
Like, the handrail is like pretty tall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think maybe that, just off the top of my head, but I mean, Sammy Klassen, anything he did down it.
All right, so let's say if you're riding in the park and you see somebody snowboarding,
yeah,
and they're touching some steel and they're doing some jumping, can you tell if somebody grew up skateboarding by their approach?
Yeah.
What gives it away?
Well, they're for sure their clothing. I think their clothing for sure. But just their trick selection,
Switch ups
and like hectic shit. Like, 360, 50-50 or something. Or like you can kind of tell like if he's a fucking skater or he's a wakeboarder. You know? It's
totally.
like it's always those two. There's no like
You can always tell when somebody's going batwing to blind on like snowboarding. They're like, I wakeboard. And you're like, yeah, we can tell like, for sure. And then you can tell if somebody, even if you skateboard and you never got that good. I feel like for me, I was never that good at skating, but I was always immersed in skateboarding.
Yeah.
And I always loved watching it and everything like that. So I was like a student of skateboarding, but not a good skateboarder.
I remember going skating with you a couple of times. You got your bag. You got a nice pop shove. You got some 50s and shit like that. Yeah,
It's got like the
and
classics.
that's it. Like
yeah.
that's all you need to have fun. I'm not saying that you got to be doing like flip in, flip out shit, but I mean, hopefully, if you snowboard, you can push around on your board and not look like a fool.
I agree. I actually want to dig up some of those old clips I filmed with Kuzik back in the day. I got a couple gems.
Yeah,
I got a nice fakey pop shove it out of a loading dock, like
Sick.
out of a trailer over like a couch.
Nice.
And like I remember Kuzik being so hyped. He's like, dude, nobody does fakey
Fakey
pop
pop
shove it
it's
down
true.
sets. And I was like,
It's
really?
true,
Like
yeah.
that's a sick clip. Like,
Yeah.
because I was never good at the technical shit, just like snowboarding.
Dude, you know what though? That is actually a very technical trick. You know, like that. That's a sick trick. Yeah,
Sick,
it's hard.
sweet.
It's hard to do.
Jeeves,
Good.
Jeeves approved.
Yeah.
There we go. That's my claim to fame.
An even sicker version of that is the opposite way too, like the way Jason Dill did it in photosynthesis.
Jason Dill. There's a name.
And he does that. He does that super long line, and then he fakey shoves over that barrier. Super sketchy, all fucking dilled out, and then grabs his board and runs down a set of stairs, and then ollies the next set over the chain. Anyways, it's a really good. Yeah, sorry about that ranting.
There's the memories are just coming up. You're like, and Jason Dill, and then you're gonna be like, oh my god, Ed Templeton did that, and you're just gonna keep running.
No Ed.
You didn't like Ed. I was just wondering with the art situation.
I liked his art.
I love
Toy Machine
the Toy
art.
Machine's art when I was a kid spoke to me more than anything.
Yeah,
I was like,
for sure, me too.
I was like, this is the coolest ads. There was just like all it was is like little people talking with like the blurbs coming out of their like mouths.
Yeah, I love the stop motion in like the old Toy Machine videos, like Welcome to Hell and Jump Off a Building. Super good.
All right, so the chapter that everybody's been waiting for, snowboarding.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do. I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't touch on skateboarding and just your roots there, because knowing you, I just know how important that is to you. And I mean, fuck, dude, it is important, because now when you see people like bring in this whole new approach of like the flip, like because nobody's watching enough videos anymore, people are just starting to lose their minds. And then now it's like people are doing fucking no slide, double tame dog.
Oh man.
And you're like, what the? Can someone just tee up a switchback lip for me? Like,
yeah.
like just calm down.
keep it mean, keep it clean, man. Fucking.
All right, favorite boarders growing up.
I'd say like all Forum 8 for sure. That's.
There we go. Good answer. Why? What made Forum sick to you as a kid?
Like, I was a huge fan of Mac Dog videos, and I just really liked. It was such a cool time. Like, I feel like in like '98, like around decade, like they were kind of figuring out their style and. Figuring out presses, and it was just really skateboard influenced. And then like the backcountry shit was dope too. So yeah, I did their clothing that they wore. The music it was like gives me goosebumps. Now I actually rewatched Decade the other day, and it was like, fuck man, it's so good. I think it's like a Lagwagon song maybe that they use, like an old punk song. And it just like totally brought me back. Like, was so stoked.
That's like True Life for me. When True Life plays, there's a weird feeling I get when that movie comes on that I'm like, I remember the feeling to love snowboarding so much as a child. Like I just loved it so much, and I thought it was so cool.
I think they kind of really like they started to do things their own way, like Jeremy and JP for jibbing, like, and Yanni. Yeah.
Bozong's
Nate
board
Bozong.
slide and the aviators, like
Was it lip slide or board slide?
whatever.
I know.
I don't even know.
I know.
I just remember he's wearing a black electric hoodie.
Yeah.
That's because when you used to watch those videos, you used to watch them so much, you used to know what people were wearing.
Yeah.
He's wearing a zip up black. I think it's a zip up, maybe a pullover, but it's a black electric hoodie, and he's wearing aviators.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, whoever this guy is, my favorite snowboarder. Like, it was the coolest clip I had ever seen at that point.
For sure. And you know what? They could all skate. JP, Jeremy, and Nate. You know, even
good.
Devin actually was all right.
Yeah.
You know, Duffy too.
All.
Yeah, so it was like pretty heavily skateboard influenced, I feel like, the Form 8. And yeah, there's just like, fuck, I was so young, and I would just come back from school and fucking blast that on repeat for sure.
So how did you land on Forum? Like one of the luckiest kids. You win the fucking lottery ticket for a child. You get immersed into that.
Yeah, I definitely worked hard for that, though. I there's a Forum Youngbloods, right? So I would travel around to all the contests, and then I was actually doing good. This was at a time where you could do 540s and 720s and maybe a 270 lip slide on a gap too, and fucking take it home.
But you were 13 probably, or 12.
Yeah, I think 13, I think. But yeah, I just won a bunch of contests all over Canada, the Forum Youngblood series, and then they picked 2 riders to go to Bear Mountain for the finals. And yeah, I didn't think I won that, but that was cool. I went with Nick's, actually. Chris Nichols, Dom and Maury. Yeah, it was super cool. I went with Logan Short. Logan Short had he has had some crazy styles too. That's I remember meeting Logan on the airplane and being like, "So what's your biggest handrail, dude?" Like trying to fucking see what's up with him, you know, see my competition. But yeah, Logan was always super good to me. He actually got me in Sandbox and helped me out with that. So shout out Logan for sure. He killed it on that trip. But yeah, I was with Lucas Magoon, bunked up with him in a
You
in a
were
room.
bunked up with Lucas in L show?
Not even also just me and Lucas
No way.
in Bear Mountain.
Those personalities must have just been a lot.
Oh yeah, he was like, "You sound like a girl," and I took that really offensively because I was 13. I don't even think I went through puberty yet. I was late, but he was wearing like some really tight shit, like tight pants. Like he wasn't like the Gooner now. He was kind of more hash. But he's awesome, man. He's fucking
Love Lucas.
so much style. He's a wicked dude. I love what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Lucas and Logan Short.
And Logan, yeah.
Was anybody else at that contest? Any notable figures?
Devin Walsh, Chris Duffy.
What?
Yeah. Yeah,
Damn.
for sure. And Mark Morissette, dude, that's crazy. So
I mean, landing on Forum for me as a kid in Winnipeg, which if you don't know is in the middle of nowhere, and you were on Forum, and it's like you had the Forum sticker on your board, and you had a special blend sticker on your board, and I was just like, and your kit was all new,
fucking
and I was
fire kits, dude.
Fire.
Insane. Yeah, I know.
best kits ever.
I know, man. And yeah, that was just like, we were talking about manifesting earlier on, and like, wow, like those are my favorite fucking companies. And sure enough, you know, so that was crazy. I remember like, yeah, or how did I get on the Team US? Something to do with Camp of Champs, man. I went to Camp of Champs too, and I think I won the big forum contest there, like another fucking Youngblood or some shit. Because I have a photo with Kevin Young and Chris Duffy holding me up like this as a kid, and Dominique was like, "Welcome to the team." And I was just like, fuck. And I remember because the hotel that we all used to stay at there. Do you remember that one? It's
the Adara
Coastal
or Ava.
Hotel.
It was the Coast back in the day.
Coast, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember getting back there and being like, calling my dad, and I just started crying because he knows how.
Oh, you love it.
Yeah. You know, I'm hanging out with my fucking idols, and yeah, I called him and I was crying. I'm like, "I just got on the team." And he's like, "No fucking way, far out." He ended up paying for me to stay an extra, I don't know, 4 days or something like that. Whatever expansion pack to the COC.
Expansion pack,
yeah.
totally. So you get on Forum. You go back to Winnipeg. How long did you stay on Forum for? You're on for 3 years?
I don't know. I can't. 2 or 3 years maybe.
And then
About 4-star died. Remember? That's what it was. That's because I would still be riding. Oh no, Burton bought out 4-star.
I have no fucking idea. I know that they did eventually. I feel like eventually Burton bought for him, but I've thought that you might have been.
I can't really remember, but
Me neither.
yeah.
So you move to Whistler, you get here. Which borders were standing out at the time, upon your arrival here?
Man, I used to chase Brian McClatchy.
Brian McClatchy.
Brian
damn, good
McClatchy
pick.
and E-Man. And I think Graydon was still around at the time too. So I would just follow them around and just try and copy them pretty much. And I think Brian was always really nice to me. And it took a long time to
Crack E-Man.
Crack E-Man, yeah.
It took a long time for everybody to crack E-Man.
Yeah, but he's awesome, man.
Yeah,
Shout out E-Man and Brian and yeah, you guys are awesome.
Then that was a wild time. I remember just riding through the hill, and it was like there was so much talent, and like between you, Belzil, Brian, Logan Short, and E-Man, like to me those were like that group was like you had everything from jumping to the new rail tricks. I mean, Brian literally in a couple of years like did tricks that I had never seen anybody do. Like he did a fakie hard way back 270, and
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
on that weird salmon arm rail, right?
yeah, and I remember
I think
him.
I was there for that. I still can't comprehend that. Fakie hard way. I just would get so tuned.
Oh, dude, you clip your edge on that one.
Well, did you see Darcy?
Oh, I did. Did you see that?
That's exactly in my mind what would happen to me. So I would never do that. Yeah.
That's exactly what I would do on that clip.
You know, to give it to Darcy, like he's one hell of a rider, and
Oh, he's talented as fuck.
yeah, and that's a pretty tactical move to be busting out. So yeah, props for trying that on that rail. I'm sure he did it like a million times that day, and that was just one bad one.
Homie's beast.
Yeah.
I love riding with him and seeing how fearless he is because I love riders like that. I love being around that energy.
Well, yeah, and it makes you go hard too. You know, well, for me when I'm riding with like people that are pushing it, I'm like, oh fuck, I got to step it up now. You know, I like doing that. I really like scaring myself. It's really fun.
I remember just riding the hill back in the day, and it would be like you, Kevin Griffin, you know, Belzil, Sollers, Rusty, E-Man, all these Logan Hallbrick, Mikey Pedersen. Everyone's rolling through the park, and it was just like fucking mayhem. Because it's like the jump. Kids don't realize that right now all the jumps are step up and overs. Like, so there's not really a knuckle. You know what I mean?
Back
they
in the
used
day
to
it
all
was
be
flat.
tabletops.
Yeah.
So if you deck.
Be a
these, like,
massive just
huge,
jump. Yeah.
Huge problem when you used to deck those
Like
things.
the big one at the very last one on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, that used to just be like a massive fucking cheese wedge and then flat.
Flat deck. If you
Yeah.
knuckle it, you're going home with bruised fucking heels or a broken ankle.
Yeah.
Like you had to make those jumps back then. Now
Yeah.
I'm like seeing these kids ride the park and they like deck and they're all fine and like they're all built safe, but they looked better when we used to hit them.
Yeah.
I think so. I liked park jumps with massive decks and then you're up in the sky. Like
You're up in the
super
sky.
high.
What's the point of? Yeah, I know what you mean.
Watch new
If I'm gonna hit a
contests, dude.
jump, I want to be up there.
You want the
know?
back 180 melon photo to be like
Yeah.
you're up in the sky and you're like, ooh,
Not
that's
grazed like at the still. The apex is like
exactly
10 feet higher than the knuckle.
much safer,
You know.
but it just looked better before.
Yeah, yeah. Was it? Do you remember when I fucked up on the heli shoot and encased that jump? Was it one of those jumps or?
The one that you back 10'd?
I back tended and then I went back the next day to go redo it because I didn't like it, and then I cased it.
Oh, I don't remember. I wasn't
But
there for
I
the
just
case.
I can't remember if it was one of those jumps we were talking about or not. But it fucking hurt, dude. I don't like.
Sounds
Yeah.
like it did.
They're like, oh yeah, possible broken femur. I'm like, oh god.
That's a bad one to be in the bird thinking about. I've had that a couple times actually.
Yeah.
When the doc leaves you hanging, he's just like, yeah, you might be paralyzed. We'll see you in half an hour. You're like, what the fuck did you just say to me?
Leaving me with that bomb like that?
Yeah,
like,
totally. And I'm on morphine. I'm 16
like,
and I'm
I'm gonna
alone. Like worst vibes ever by a doctor. Well, since we're on that kind of chapter right now, Sandbox, huge chapter. Kevin Sansalone dishing out A huge opportunity to all of us kids back then.
Absolutely.
But I mean, time well wasted. We can't skip over this chapter. I mean, Shakedown, Akon, 17 years old, just gets on DC. Let's speak on that part.
Well, I mean, everyone always talks about it. Like, I know it's a good part. You know, I know that the rail riding is good and there's some jumps and stuff in there, but I think it was just kind of magic the way it all happened. Like, it was also the last year of filming 16 too, which I think is pretty awesome. I think that adds up to something, but
It looks good.
it looks good, yeah. But I mean, what do you want to know? Like,
Well, let's talk. Okay. For one thing, front board, all white kid. Like, what was going through your head when you're like, I'm going to front board? Like, what did you want something? Were you like, I want to be the biggest pro in the world? Or was snowboarding just that fucking easy for you?
it straight up was, I didn't think about like trying it to become something. Like, if I do this, and I don't even think I knew it was like the first ever done at that point. You know, I think it was the first ever.
I
Front board on a triple kink.
definitely the first time ever done on one in the streets that was big and that legit. Anyone who's ever hit that rail, that thing is insane.
It's got these weird gaps in it too.
Yeah, it's not smooth.
Did you Bondo yours?
We had Bondo, but the Bondo had all broken through it, so it was terrifying.
Yeah, I didn't. We didn't have Bondo for it.
Oh, you just hopped over. You just hovered on your heel edge.
Yeah.
Like, lift up at the right point.
Yeah.
Like, go weightless or you're going to fucking die.
Yeah.
I remember living with you at that time, and you had came home from a trip, and you were like, yeah, it went pretty good. I filmed some pretty good clips, but I felt like there was something inside of you where, like, something happened. Like, you had filmed some shit.
Well, after I did the front board, I got a lot of praise from like the filmers because they're like, what the fuck? Like, I think Johnny Fats was filming it. Fikowski was there filming it. I think that the rail side of things, just that shit came really easy to me. Like, that's why I was able to have, like, you know, with Super 16, you only get so many tries, really. I mean, you can't really watch over the footage, so you do it and you pray that the film comes back and it's all good and your style's okay. But yeah, I just think that at that point, snowboarding was, yeah, maybe a little bit easy to me. You know, it came easier. Like, I don't know. Maybe that sounds cocky, but it's just the way it is. Like, especially jibbing, it's like, oh, fuck. This thing's strapped to my feet. You know, it was almost scarier because you can kick it away, you know?
I mean, there was a bunch of crazy clips in that. Like, you go to Glen Rosa, you have a front 270 switch up.
Mm-hmm.
The front board pretzel in the red pants is like one of the best front board pretzels. And now you see a lot of people doing the pretzels, and they look like they do a method or something in the middle of them. I don't know why people can't just replicate the one that you did, where it's just like you get over top of the rail and then you pretzel.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's like some really shit that I see out there, and it's like, whoa. Like, it's almost like it's like crazy is the like cool style now. Like, the more hectic it is, the more dope it is. Whereas back in the day, it was like, try and keep it chill the whole time.
Yeah, try to keep it tight. Like, the Backcountry was like, look like Dev, and then JP and Jeremy were
exactly. That's perfect. Yeah, for sure. Act like Dev, like pretend you're Devin at all times. Like no fucking weird grabs. You know what I mean? But like, for me, Devin was just so smooth, and he just did everything so fucking sick.
Yeah, I was a big fan. But then at that exact same time, we moved into a house together. And,
Future Proof?
And we got Future Proof.
Yeah,
and
I remember
that's
that.
when I remember watching
Mueller.
Nicholas's part and then being like,
Japans are sick. Totally two different types of style.
narrower
right?
stance.
Yeah.
Like, his stance was smaller. And then and then at that exact same time, you had Bandwagon, which we got Bandwagon and Future Proof. And both of those movies were like game changers to me.
Oh, huge, dude. Yeah. I mean, for jibbing, Bandwagon was mine. I remember watching that shit with you fucking every day.
So
you know?
squared up, just proper.
So squared up. And it's like, and those guys were in town too, remember? Like a few of them had moved out and we'd see them around and be like, oh shit.
LNP had a big Holden sticker on his board and grenade
Yeah.
stickers. I remember being like, you could see who somebody was by the stickers of their board. Like I wouldn't know who they were by looking at them until I looked at their board and I was like, that's LNP. That's Alex Canton. That's Ben Bullock. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And all those French Canadians were wearing like jeans. They all look like just rockers.
Yeah,
Hesh as
rockers.
fuck.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely had a style. Well, I don't know, was like Max Legendre and Jan Dauphin. They were before.
They were like the gangster dudes.
They were like before. I think they kind of maybe opened it up for them. Maybe.
I feel like
they like Frosted Flakes was Sunset Films.
There was like two different. It was like Montreal and then there was like Quebec.
And Montreal was Sunset Films.
Yeah, I think
right?
it was
With like Max Henault.
Yeah, totally.
And
then Quebec was.
And then the New
Bandwagon.
Age. Yeah.
And fuck, dude, did those guys ever like they kind of changed the game? I remember you were like, I don't want to dress like these guys, but they're doing everything right.
Yeah, for sure. But at the same time, what the fuck was I wearing? You know, looking back at it now, they were dressing correct. You know, like I was really the one dressing like a fucking maniac. But at the same time, I'm not the one making the fucking gear. So you can talk to DC about that.
What was your least favorite kit you ever wore?
God, so many. Probably like anything in standard video. For the record, that video, I just want it erased from the world. My one, my big shot at standard and just fucking
take us through it. Take us through it. What happened?
All right. So, what happened was I just, I had a really good time filming for that video because it was just me and Halder and like Jason Dubois. But like those guys were clearly way fucking better than me trick wise, So I was kind of definitely felt like I could not keep up with them. So maybe that's why I'm like, well, maybe if I just fucking throw on a different cut, like another hoodie or something like that and wear some fucking shades and some goggles. I don't know. I think I was like, it's embarrassing to look back at. Like I can't even watch that part. And there's like some okay tricks, like some of that back 50, 180 closeout. It was weird. It was weird. Like filming, I think with Torstein too, that was all good. But like I'd go to a rail and then they'd shut it down. I'd be like, I just wanted a 50-50 and fucking Jason Dubois comes in and
back one switch 50 or something.
And like transfers to a fence or some shit. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? So like they were just way better than me, I think.
No, dude, they were just as good, but I think that was the first year that you just didn't try as much. I remember me and Griff seeing that part and being like,
oh, I don't.
And they coming out and Griff just being so disappointed. He's like,
stop,
crooked back lip. Yeah, totally,
dude.
But the front board pretzel 180 on the bank was sick as fuck.
I can't, dude. Cut.
Can't.
Switch it up.
Okay.
I'm glad you actually did bring that fucking heinous crooked back lip up. At that time too, I was kind of, I think, not really wanting. I wanted to go the opposite direction. I wanted to be doing more backcountry. Like my whole life, I jibbed or rode street, whatever, But I always wanted to, like, I had to use that in order to get to where I wanted to get to, which was backcountry. So I kind of felt like after my 2 sandbox parts, like, give me a shot at backcountry. But standard wanted me for rails. But they didn't realize that I was kind of tapped out. And also they had good rail riders, I think I just needed like a year to just do what I wanted to do. And I wasn't given that, whether it be like filming for Sandbox or whatever video. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, totally. I mean, your last couple years with Sandbox, you really started to like get some good backcountry shit. You were doing, and the bird would come out, and you had the double Wildcat, that Cab 5, heli follow,
switch
and
method too. I like that switch method.
Switch method.
It was downhill takeoff too, and kind of backwards.
You have like 4 good switch methods. You have a bunch.
It's my favorite trick.
Where did that come from?
Devin.
Good. I knew I thought you might say that.
It's like a switch ollie. Like I always looked at it like skating, or just a switch heel or something like that. You know, it was a simple technical trick. And I always, for like growing up, I always heard like Cashin would always say like, it's actually hard to do a good method. You know, it's easier to go and do a back three or a fucking spin or something like that. And I totally agree. So if you use that mentality and do it switch, that's a fucking sick shot.
Totally. It's timeless.
And that's like another thing too. Like I was kind of good at it. So I used that to my advantage. You know what I mean? Cause I had certain tricks, you know what I mean? So
it is interesting to hear you kind of say like, oh, and then how do all those people were better than me? It's like, if soon as you want to do something, you can do it. Whether it's in the pipe, rails, backcountry, like there's a lot of clips that you filmed, and you were one of those people similar to like, I hate the comparison of Nate Bozong, but freakishly talented individuals who don't have to work that hard for stuff.
Yeah.
Like yourself, I feel like it's almost like a curse. It seems like this blessing, but it's like everybody else is like, we have to grind for these clips. Like, you're like, dude, this is so much easier than skateboarding. This is a fucking joke. Like, you're like, I'm strapped into this fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like,
I really like the backcountry snowboarding aspect of it because I could see that there was more to it. I felt like I was kind of capped or maxed out on rails. Like I kind of was like over it, and I seen a whole different world of snowboarding. So I'm talking like the way you fucking build a jump, the way you look at a spot in the backcountry, how you handle your snowmobile, backcountry awareness, avalanche safety, all that shit. It's not just snowboarding. And this comes into Bralorne. I loved the idea of coming to Bralorne or moving to Bralorne because all the new terrain. Because I would always hear, you know, someone say like, oh, fuck, forum step down again. Peter Line did this fucking years ago. And it's true. You know, it is true. Like, you don't want to have to go to a fucking jump and have to do a 1080 because everything else is being done. Do you? I don't want to do that. I want to do a sick ass fucking straight air or front three or something with, you know,
on a fresh feature that no one's hit before.
No one and probably will never even see again. They're like, where is that? You're never going to know. You know? Yeah, it's fucking.
I mean, would you rather see like a really sick kickflip on this like cool stair set that's yellow that no one's ever seen before, backside flip or something like that? Or would you rather see the same set like the Hollywood High right now or whatever? Dude, anytime a trick gets done on that, I'm like, dude, this rail has been in fucking...
But the tricks that are going down on it are fucking insane. I'm pretty sure some fucking like 13-year-old girl just backsmithed it.
That's what I mean. Like I feel like it's in my feed every day. It's like forum step down in your feed.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Well, it's
like
a staple, and people. It's not like people are going there and doing the same trick that's been done before. They're doing like flip front blunt. Like some kid that's on primitive just ended his part, I think, with kickflip front blunt to regular. I think. But anyways, he just like, it was so proper too, like flip in and then like fucking blunt.
I have watched it.
I hate it when people do nose blunts or blunts that are just over nose slides. You know, you gotta fucking
lean into it.
It's got to be a little bit vert. You know.
Oh yeah. But I'm also not the person to be picking that shit apart. You know what I mean?
Hey man, everyone's entitled to their opinion.
I like it. The Mountain Lab. DC was a huge part of your snowboarding. You sign with them, you blow up, you get huge, you get to go somewhere like the Mountain Lab. I feel like most people who are listening to this, that was their dream place. Was it a little bit of a letdown, or was it better than ever?
The first time was like a dream come true. It was super cool. I had a good time both times. But the second time, I was living in Bralorne and I really wanted to film backcountry. And I was still a sandbox. And I had shit lined up to do. And Ryan Slizziak, I think he really wanted to go to the Mountain Lab. And everything was kind of depending on me to make that happen. So I was kind of forced into fucking going to the Mountain Lab with like, Logan Hovrick. Like riding for GC was great, but I fucking hated the fact that I would get paid through Canada, but I was global. And, so not only did I have to fuck around with the Canadian side of things, but I also had to fuck around with a new team manager every fucking year, it seemed like, for the whole time. Because you remember how many team managers we fucking had?
Oh, yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Do you feel that there's pros and cons to blowing up at such a young age?
Absolutely, for sure.
Because you turned into like a global sensation with your 2 Sandbox parts, and that was a Canadian movie. Your parts were so good that they almost made those movies like people that were not from Canada. Like you talk to someone like Ryan Teeney from Australia, or you talk to someone like Heldor from Iceland. It's like Kareem from Sweden. Everybody around the world watched those videos basically to watch your parts because it echoed around the world.
Well, that's fucking super nice, man. Thank you. I will say this. I don't know if this kind of ties into it, but I put in all my eggs into one basket with DC, and I think that was a stupid move because when shit hit the fan, it really left me with nowhere to go. And at that point wasn't really doing too much. I was kind of getting into trouble a little bit and maybe pissing some people off. And so when that fell through, I kind of felt like I had nowhere to go to or like to even ask. I don't even think I really asked, like shopped around, because I just was like, that's it. I kind of fucked that up. Pretty much done. Do
you wish you did do some more shopping?
Well, no, because I went to Dino. I think that everything happens for a reason, and I think that I'm meant to be here in this exact spot, this hour. I really do. I think that I had to go through all that shit to rekindle my love for snowboarding, to be sitting here right now talking to you. So no, because I had Dino, and it was Dino's family to me. And it would have been nice to be in a couple more years of traveling and whatnot, and maybe trying to film some more video parts. But
man, you were so heavily branded with DC too that like they used you as such a big marketing tool. I remember going to the trade show one time, and it's like, dude, the whole trade show booth in the States was just your face everywhere with the face paint, and you were riding down this dam.
Yeah.
And it was like this massive wall, and it was like Andrew Geeves, and it's just like...
Yeah, that's a sick story, because we went out to Australia, and I'm not good at contests, but we were in the Australia Open, and it was cool because this is I guess the first live stream of a snowboard event. So I blew it in the contest, and I think Haldor did his first double cork, like first try ever in that contest.
No way.
Yeah. But then we all went to this spot. It's called the Guthiga Dam. And everyone finds their shit that they're going to do. We got a big crew. So everyone finds their shit. Jonas is doing a wall ride over here. Haldor is doing like a nose pick pull-in thing. Torstein's doing an ollie or something like that. I'm like, well, fuck, man. Like, I got nothing to do here. Everything's taken. And I'm like, look up. I'm like, wow, there's that, So I'm like, how am I going to get up there? Because you couldn't get to you couldn't climb down. And I remember I seen rope at the contest. So I went to the side of the run, and I stole all the rope that keeps people out of the contest, wrapped it up. And it's like super shitty rope too, really dangerous rope. Super not climbing.
Frayed.
Yeah, frayed and like
thin.
The blue plasticky fray shit.
Ready to snap.
Yeah, so we went back there, and I told my team manager, Zach Dalton. Shout out to Zach Dalton. He was a great team manager, man. Such a good guy. Wherever you're at, I hope you're doing well, buddy. But yeah, I told Zach that I wanted to drop in on it, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know, man. Like, I think that's a bad idea." I was like, well, fuck it, like, it's me doing it, like, you should let me do it. He's like, okay, how are you gonna do it? So I'm like, I got the rope. I stole this rope. I tie it to a shovel, throw it around the back side of the dam, and then I get Zach and a couple other guys to pull me up while I'm walking up. So I'm holding this rope, and they're pulling me up, and I get to the top, and it's fucking massive, dude. and
Huge.
yeah, it's huge, and it's a fucking rollover. It's like a convex roll. I can't even see if there's like pieces of metal or anything sticking out or rebar or whatever. So kind of fucking crazy. But anyways, I like throw a bit of snow down. They threw a bit of snow down, and then yeah, I had a beer up there too, shotgun to beer, and
Some liquid courage, and
yeah,
here we go.
shotgun to beer, had a smoke, and then dropped in, and it was like, it was okay once I was going down, but the initial rollover was like, fuck, please be in line where there's not any disturbance of the
Huge concrete.
yeah, just like any kind of weird rebar or something like that. But I knew that was my, like, I knew as soon as I did that it was game on. That was kind of my introduction to DC, because they came out with the like the season panel. There's the season book of all the outerwear lookbook, and I think it was like me on the cover or something like that. There was a whole bunch of shit about me in there, so I knew that that was a good call on my part. So it worked out in my favor for sure.
You're looking around, and then you just see a massive dam that's like
I'm like
15 stories high, and then you're like, I'm gonna ride down that.
Yeah, this guy's fucking doing double corks. That's Torstar, and like everyone's so much better than me. So I guess I kind of made up for it by stuff like that, the spots that I chose to do, and I guess like the ridiculous outerwear kits I wore.
Well, I mean, you had a huge personality, but I think that maybe from hanging out in Ottawa and Bralorne, I think that you keep saying things like, "Oh, I'm less talented." You were just as talented as that entire group. You're like, especially for someone like myself, who I feel like I've ridden with a lot of the best snowboarders in the world over the years, and I've had the privilege of riding with like everybody from like Jake to E-Man to Kazu to John Jay, whoever. It's like, you are one of the most talented snowboarders I have ever ridden with ever. And you, the reason why that you didn't just slip through the cracks, and you're like, yeah, you would ride some crazy dam stuff, but you had this like personality. You had absolutely amazing trick and spot selection. I mean, yeah, your one standard part sucked, but other than that, all of your sandbox parts were absolutely insane. The reason DC's little edits that they used to make, like some of that footage is insane. And then the dope videos, like the pillar drop in the back 7 in Dope 1 that opens the movie, it's like some of the most iconic clips ever. We can
thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's super nice of you.
Yeah, you're not some like milky wishy-washy guy who's just like, I don't know how I got here. Everybody who's ever ridden with you,
well, I knew that I was good, but you know, I'm just being real. Like, I wasn't Torstein and Haldor good. Like,
they're very good.
You know, like,
Okay.
but like good and like trick wise.
You had flavor and pizzazz.
Yeah, like spots and stuff. I don't know.
That whole team was amazing, though. I mean, at the time, you're really like, between you, Heldor, and Torstein, it's like, from that generation, those are 3 of the best snowboarders from that era.
Appreciate
and
that.
you were part of that club for a reason, and well deserved. And I think that Torstein and Heldor would say the same thing. In fact, I was with Mark McMorris 2 nights ago. We were having some butter chicken.
Nice.
And I told him that I was going to do a podcast with you, and he's like, Andrew was one of my favorite snowboarders ever for like years. And it's like, you know,
that's super
it's like
cool.
some of the best in the world that are like, you know, and best in the world. Mark is, if you're going full analytics, like nobody has more medals than him, and he's like, that's who I binge watched growing up.
Wow, man, that's super nice. Thank you, Mark. Fuck, that means a lot. Yeah, it's flattering for sure.
What was your favorite part you've ever filmed?
Damn, I kind of thought you were gonna ask this question, and I'm gonna have to go with it might not be my best, but it's the most fun I've had, and that was 8 Mile.
Sick.
Yeah, just because it was no stress, and Kale is one of my favorite people on this planet. He's just like the nicest, biggest oaf ever. He's just wicked, man, and he really took me in, and I got to ride with Griffin lots that year, and it was just between us. Like Griffin was bringing the bong out in the backcountry, and like, you know, Kale was like trying fucking crazy rodeos and like landing on his head. And like I was like learning still too. It was just fun. It was like a full commitment to a backcountry part, and trout too. You got like, I was filming with trout every day. Like it was good times. And then just to be a part of like the people that I really looked up to, like obviously Renzi is one of my favorite snowboarders. And I think what he did for people like myself and gave a platform that kind of didn't really vibe with whoever it made it fun, for someone like myself that didn't really vibe with everyone. I really vibed with those guys. Mikey was always really nice to me. So
I feel like there was like a couple years there, like after Sandbox, where yourself, me and Griff, all kind of being on the same frequency. We're looking for something that was a little bit more fun.
Yeah. Right? Because you were there too.
Yeah, it was just like, and you and me and Logan Hallbrick were all in DC.
Yeah.
And it was really cool at the time that DC got behind that project and was like, you guys want to film with these guys? You can do that.
Yeah.
And it was like not going to be the biggest project ever, but like we got to go and be alongside our heroes like Arrow and Ika and Benji and Kale and Johnny and like kudos for them for like letting us be a part of that, because that's some of my favorite memories ever, being on those tour buses.
Going to the monster things in Lake Louise.
Like Ruckus in the Rockies and renting RVs and buying hamsters and driving around.
God. I think I stole that hamster.
We don't condone stealing hamsters or bringing bongs into the backcountry anymore. It was a different time.
It was a different time, and I definitely, it's just ridiculous. Like people bring weed up in the backcountry all the time, but Kevin went out of his way to fucking bring a bong up there, and there's like, I think there's a clip of like maybe the intro to 8 Mile where we're like, we made a little snow cave and we're taking bong rips with Kale. It's ridiculous.
Full little bastard style. Like, let's build a snow cave and have some drinks in here.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, those were some of my most fond memories too. I mean, 8 Mile, like that's the one thing that I feel like snowboarding's missing a little bit of. It's like it's coming back to that, but Mikey and Johnny created something that was like the perfect balance of like having fun, but still like good snowboarding.
Yeah.
But like keeping it kind of what it is, which is like calm down, we're snowboarding, you know what I mean? It doesn't need to be that serious.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was the boom of like dolly follow cams. There was an in-run shot all the time. Everything was so perfectly manicured.
Yeah, it was also like the time of maxing out your video incentive too.
Let's get an in-run shot here so we can meet that quota 2 minutes.
I need that fucking 5G, man.
We actually have a Patreon question. Thanks to everybody who's a Patreon member. Y'all the fucking best. You guys really help this show keep moving. The question goes like this. I'd like to hear Andrew talk on style, his inspiration behind his kits, fits, tricks, both urban and backcountry. The kid is so nice with it. Chris Green. Skittles were in. Mountain Lab print was dope as fuck.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. I do appreciate it. I think at the time, crazy kits were in, colorways and patterns and everything like that. So that had a lot to do with it, especially DC was making some crazy prints, the DC Mountain Lab print, the Renee print. But most importantly, I think that I thought that I wasn't as good as the rest of them, so I kind of had to make up for it in a certain way. So that was a good way for me to maybe stand out a little bit more. And like the face paint and all that shit, I got that from Hardingham and Dustin and Fikowski, that whole crew from Alberta. They were always rocking Zinca, and Hardingham was also one of my favorites too, like his character, and I just thought he was so funny and cool, and I loved the way he rode shit, his big rock rides and everything. He was just hectic, and I like that about him. Very raw, and anyone that knows anything knows the Rockies have a big difference of snow compared to here. You know what I
Snowpack
mean?
is very
So,
different.
yeah,
It's bony out there.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kudos to him for doing the crazy shit he's done.
It was funny, actually. Jeff Patterson, who photographer who you've shot with, was on the podcast, and he was speaking on riding or shooting with Andrew Hardingham, and he was saying Hardingham's mentality was, if I can get crazy in like Lake Louise terrain, I can get crazy anywhere because you don't know if there's a rock under that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
You know what I
for
mean?
sure.
Like, he's like, if I'm fearless here, I'm fearless anywhere.
Yeah. I don't know, like, or when he'd come to Super Park. Remember the times we used to go to Super Park and him and Chuck and Dustin and Too Tall would fucking roll up with like the Caesar mixer case,
The kit.
because they couldn't get
Clamato
juice, so they'd bring their own in this fucking Caesar thing and just like get hammered at Super Park and do ridiculous shit. You know, it was
True Canadian fashion.
yeah. I just really I had a lot of respect for all those guys for sure. Dustin is so, you know, one of my Canadian faves for sure too.
Totally. I feel like you've always been drawn into people who have big personalities. Either you match with them or you don't.
For sure. And I think that's definitely not a good thing. I don't think it worked out to my favor.
I mean, I don't know. There's some people that you just don't click with through life, and
Yeah,
you don't need to be.
But unfortunately, you have to fucking be on a team with them, you know? Like,
Yeah, there is this thing called just being mature, and you're like, okay, I'm
Gotta
gonna
deal with it.
navigate this as best as I can. But I mean, not everybody's built to like everybody. But there
Yeah.
is still a way to go about it, so it's
a
civil.
professional way, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But I mean, like, you're also dealing with fucking like 20-year-old wild child, right?
Totally.
You know, they're not always going to see the same way as a team manager does or some shit, you know?
We were speaking on some of your favorite clips that you've ever filmed. I wanted to see if you had any others, just because, I mean, you filmed a slew of video parts, and I feel like we're not giving you justice right now on a couple of the clips that we speaked on. So anything else that pops in your head that may have been a favorite?
Well, for sure the back seven from opener to dope.
Oh, yeah. Absolute mind melter. One of the
Yeah.
best back sevens ever done, in my opinion.
Thanks, man. You know what? Actually, Ollie Gagnon, like a long time ago, wrote like, I think it was like top 10 favorite tricks or something like that too. In King Snow, I seen like a long time ago.
Damn.
And I didn't even know till years later. I was just like flipping through it, and I seen it. I was like, damn, that's like on Ollie's the man. So
Oh, Ollie's up there with like, if probably one of the most credible opinions too. Like someone who's been a
Yeah.
student since like the early 90s. Like
he knows what's up. For
he
sure.
knows what's up.
So
Great
that-
taste.
yeah.
So it means something.
It does, yeah, for sure. But
Take us through that back seven. Everybody wants to know more about that
Okay.
back seven. Did you hit that thing alone? Where is it? Can I hit it? Fuck,
yeah,
that thing
well,
is sick.
it's up in Bralorne. It's like this. It's kind of a really small zone, and really, there's not too much to ride up there. But there is a sick couloir. Is that? I have a hard time saying that word for some reason.
Couloir.
Couloir, yeah. And there's a big couloir up there that you can sled all the way to the top, which is pretty amazing, and ride that. And then there's also that jump. But I haven't been back to that jump in probably since. So I don't know if I think it forms similar every year.
Did you find that?
Yeah.
Good eye.
Yeah. And like so I was going out there just when I first moved to Bralorne with some redneck sledders, and they're just showing me around, and then I kind of seen that and had my eye on it for a long time, and I told Brockle that I think he should come up and we should film it. And I think UC Grisnar came up too, and I don't know how the fuck he blew that photo, man, but he was super bummed. He was like, he should have just shot it right from where Brockle is, right at that perfect time, you know, because it would have been a sick photo.
In UC's defense, most people who build a feature like that and say, I'm going to back seven into this pocket, do not do what you did.
Yeah, well, I think that he didn't think, I think that he thought I wasn't going to go as big.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think if I was shooting that and you were like, I threw a snowball and you said you were going to back seven that, well, I mean, maybe you're a bad example because you're so good, but like, fuck, dude, like that thing is.
E-Man was there too, mate. I don't know. Like we had a weird. Was Rob up there? I don't know. This is back in the day. I can't really remember too much, but I do remember we had like a fucking. Dave Chambo was out there at some point too. Like I was just like, come on up. Like
just all the homies.
And like Brockle actually was using this guy Free Spirit Quinn, old school legend fucking skier. Shout out to Free. He had a place out in Bralorne and he had an old snowmobile. And the way to get out there, you had to go over this super sketchy bridge. And I remember Brockle Bank just tripping balls. He was on this super old snowmobile that barely like ran, and you had to go over just wide. It was just as wide as the skis, and a big snow happened, so it was like a pillow. So he was like wobbling on it, and he was tripping. And anyways, we got out there, and I think I hit it a couple of times. I think it was like on the last possible time, maybe. And I just fucking was like, I need to go bigger and faster. And I also think the snow, like the conditions just lined up. Because I actually did go back there and I cab 5'd it like a couple years after with Burns. And Burns did a backside rodeo 7. But the landing, there's not much of a landing there. So
it's a pocket.
It's a super small pocket. And I think there was maybe too much snow. So you land and you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you can get away with that shit, but
when you got the melon, did you know that you had it? Because the bone on that is fucking mental.
I don't know. I kind of just remember like grabbing it. It wasn't my normal way to do back sevens. I like kind of delayed the grab and grabbed at 360, I think, and then that. I just fucking was so high up in the air that I just held it and boned it. And I was able to, when I boned it, it like lined up perfectly with the landing. So I like actually held the grab the whole way and then landed. And then my favorite part about it is I do like a cool, I don't know what the grab is called, but it's like an indie, but I did one at the start of the year, like an indie and tweak it out to side a bit. What do you call that?
A crail, but I don't know. It's not a crail.
Not a crail.
Crail's on the nose.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Was that back 7 one of your favorite clips you've ever filmed?
I think maybe just because it did make it into the Transworld video, and I remember Brockle saying that like these guys are down. Joe Carlino, I think it was. He's like, yeah, they're down to get a couple clips of you if you can do it, and I think it might be one of my favorites just because it was just such a beautiful day, such a perfect day. And I tried really hard for that, and it looked fucking good. You know what I mean? Like it was nice. Like the backdrop was sick, and it just felt good. And also too, no one's ever hit it before. Like to me, like that to me, that's why I love Bralorne. Back to Bralorne, it's like I love finding stuff that you don't even know if it's gonna work. Like no one's hit it. No one knows the speed for it. It's like finding a new skate spot and breaking it in. You know what I mean? So,
it's the feeling that Devin would have had his whole career.
Exactly. Right? Totally. Yeah.
Like think about that. Like it's wild to comprehend that the entire time Devin was doing what he was doing with like JF, the Wildcats, and Sheen, and that whole group of people that pioneered the Whistler backcountry. They found all those features and then were like, do they work?
Yeah. And
then here I am 3 generations later being like, you drop from the pine tree with no branches. And it's like, find something new, Jody. Fuck you.
Oh, man. It must be getting pretty hard in like the Whistler backcountry to
find a new thing. The one thing is the boom of the cheese wedge jump saved us because it put finding new features on pause. It was like 10 years of just going to rollovers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's a good
call.
So
unique snowboarding has been on pause for a long time, and that's why I think like with like Bryn and Jack McDougall and these like this new wave of riders, I feel like they're actually finding like Miskman and Cicerelli, like that whole genre of new kids. When I go out with them, they have new eyes on things.
Yeah,
and
fresh
eyes, and they're finding things.
Yeah.
That like you're like, but then you bump into Browner and he's like, fucking Mark Morissette, Switchback 3'd that in 1997. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's why going to
but
Bralorne,
you know what?
no one hit it.
Yeah. But I guess it's this day and age, not too many people know this stuff anyways. It's just Browner and those people that know that. So you can kind of get away with it because no one's really doing I don't think anyways, no one's really doing their research. No one cares that much to like.
There's a select few. You know what I mean? There's like the Ben Bullock, there's the Scott Stevens, Alec Allstring, myself. There's like probably like there's a small group of people who like watch everything all the time, year round. And I mean, when you have a podcast, if you don't, you're doing a disservice to snowboarding. So I have to stay up on it.
Yeah.
It's an obligation now.
Yeah, you're doing a good job though.
Question for you. Today you went to the spa, one of our sponsors for the show, Scandinave.
Yep.
Did you enjoy your experience? I normally hand the guest a bath pass, but since you went today because I knew that you were in town, did you enjoy your experience?
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Thank you very much, Gibbons, right?
That one's from the Scandinave Spa, but
Okay.
Gibbons is providing us this lovely studio space and
Well, thank you very much, Gibbons, for providing this lovely studio space for my friend Jody here at Airtime Podcast. And thank you, Scandinave Spa, for the little R&R session this afternoon. That was awesome.
wow, I'm going to have to give this guy a raise. That was well done. Okay, so we got 10 questions for you, kind of bullet points for you to roll through and they're called Andrew's Opinion.
Ooh.
Is it a 5-0 or a tail press?
Oh, it's a tail press, man. For sure. You don't got no trucks on there.
Name one illegal trick in snowboarding.
Fucking tuck knees, man. I don't know. I hate tuck knees.
Tuck knees. They get under your skin.
Well, yeah. Like the weird backflip fucking indie twanger shit. I don't know. There's a ton of illegal tricks.
Let's go down the hole.
Well, you just watch a fucking park contest, you know, like it's, I don't know. Maybe, but that's what you have to do, right? You have to just more points to win. So you gotta
do what you gotta do.
Style, yeah. Someone's tuck knee's sick. It's like, no, it's not.
What about on a skateboard?
Tuck knee's sick on a skateboard.
That's
But a board's too big. Like, it's just, what are you gonna do a tuck knee with? Are you gonna spin with it?
I don't know. I kind of like the tuck knee, but I'm never gonna do it again now.
But honestly, what are you? A straight air tuck knee? All right, maybe. But are you gonna do a spin with tuck knee? I think that would look just fucking disgusting.
It would be hard to pull it off. I mean, maybe like a back 5 tuck knee. That'd be kind of crazy.
Someone's gonna fucking
it.
hear this and be like, "I fucking showed you, man."
And then you'll be stoked, though.
I'll be stoked, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, illegal tricks, crazy rippy flips, and like the knuckle huck shit. It's not for me.
Is it cab or is it switch frontside?
I don't believe, like, there's not a cab in snowboarding. You're not popping fakie. But like I still call it cab 5.
Same.
It's just like, or switch front 5. But yeah, normally I'd say cab 5. But it really should just be a switch front side.
Flips off rails, yes or no?
That's a fuck no, man. It's a hell no. Like, that's like what I'm talking about with the illegal shit. But I mean, once again, you have to do it. But like the minute you're fucking doing a backflip board side or a board side backflip on a fucking street rail, like, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
So, if someone's chalking it up to win the X Games to put food on the plate for the fam,
go, you flip to win.
Flip to win.
Yeah.
But if you're going in the streets to film a video part,
you got no business doing that shit in the streets, man. Stay in the park.
Should Hesh come back?
Yeah. Like, how Hesh we talking?
Bandwagon Hesh.
It's not that bad. I don't. It's just like how like super skinny jeans. Like I kind of like that look. Like just jeans and like a hoodie. Like
I feel like you kind of ride good when that happens.
Saniac, like that's a good hesh.
That Saniac's a
But
good
like a
hash.
fucking old Corey Duffel kind of hash. Like remember people were taking it to the limits.
Matty Ryan's hash always looked good to me.
I like that hash.
Yeah. Like the Matty Ryan,
And
Nate Bozon
your
part.
character has to kind of match it. You know what I mean? So what's that other guy's name that filmed for Absence? And he just came out with like some footage that was really sick. He did the wall ride on the fence.
Kale Zima?
Yeah.
Kale Zima's sick as fuck.
I think that guy's pretty dope.
I'm super down with Kale Zima.
Like
I really
it-
liked his part in the new Brown movie.
That's
Just
what I'm
back
talking about.
180s through
Yeah.
that double set. It's
Yeah.
so like
And his wall ride on the fence, that was
Yeah.
super cool. So yeah, I think that Hesh is, if you have a good personality to go with it, then yeah, why not?
yeah, Kale Zima's huge fan. I like Mikey LeBlanc's kind of hash too. It's like a Sanyuk kind of hash. It just kind of works. Just ollie down the
Like
set.
like a leprechaun Hesh.
Leprechaun hash. Will pants over the high backs ever come back?
Pants over the high backs. I don't. You know what? I guess that was a trend for a while, but I mean, if you got a, I don't know, what? Why did it stop? Is it?
I don't know. Kareem still wears it over his face. He's like, man, Mark Frank never wore his high backs. Oh, dude, you have to put
sick.
your pants over the high backs, man. And I'm
awesome.
like,
I don't think. I mean, you could just be rushing to get a run in and just forget to do it. But I mean, if you have a like a binding sponsor, maybe that comes into play. I don't know, but I could really care less what your pants are doing with your binding. So that's whatever you want, I think.
split boarding, yes or no?
At the start of the year, I was my first year ever splitting, and I did a lot of it at the start of the year, and it's a great way just to get out into the mountains and enjoy your day when you know it's too bony to go fucking send it or whatever. It's just it's a good way to get in shape for the season, and you get a couple, it's like a run with a fucking reward at the end.
I like it. I'm into it.
Yeah.
I don't do it often, but sunglasses and goggles, yes or no?
You're talking to the fucking king of that. Yeah, maybe in like 2008, but now
What about 2080?
now like if you're on top of a starting ramp of a contest and you're watching your fellow opponents, maybe, but you riding in that shit? I'm just going no, no, don't. No, I did that shit, and it's a hell no now.
It's a hell no. Best name for rail boarding.
Jibbin.
I
It's
honestly
so
called it
stupid.
steel for so long, but now so many people are calling it jibbing again on the show that I'm kind of like, we gotta just respect our fucking roots.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like the oldest people like Nate Cole and shit like that, they were all like jibbing, the old
JP,
ride team,
JP,
like, jibbing.
yeah, JP, like fuck. I used to love it when he said jibbing.
Yeah, it's so snowboard.
Yeah, so, but then I found out later on that it's actually jibbing smoking meth.
Yeah, totally.
So
it's
like,
total.
you got like fucking 12-year-olds saying the wrong thing.
That is true here. All right, moving along. Dope 3, dropping in on the pillar. That clip always stood out to me. What was going on? Were you dead sober? Did you have some tins in you that night?
Oh yeah.
That clip was insane, and I've been to that spot.
So I was I was on DC, and I was filming. I don't know what for. It wasn't for dope. It was for DC, but I just started filming with Rick Johnston, and he lived in Pemberton, and I just kind of wanted to go try and get a shot dropping in on that thing, but it was pretty scary. It's pretty stupid, but it was just something to do, something to do. And so I was definitely not sober for that. I think I was like 12 beers deep. And
12? How did you
Yeah.
strap in up there?
Did a lot of cocaine too. But yeah, I was pretty loose for that for sure. And I don't think Rick he didn't really know who I was at that time and was kind of like, what the fuck's this kid doing? He's hammered up there, wobbling around on this little fucking... and the thing was actually slanted too. So like the very top bit. So I had to make a platform of snow to make it level. And yeah. So yeah, I was definitely intoxicated for that. But I feel like as far as like stupid stunt boarding goes, you know, there's no skill involved with that. Just straight up strap in and drop in. So.
But it's full balls to the walls courage.
Yeah.
Because I would never do that.
I did it so shitty too. I like got speed dropping in and aired half the fucking thing into it. So I didn't even like grind the whole thing. But with that, it was just one and done. So I didn't want to do any more of that.
How did, if you don't mind me asking, how did the rap on DC happen?
Well, we were out at the GT Memorial at an undisclosed location because I know people are funny about that place.
Zipper Mouth Creek?
Yeah, fucking Shut Your Face Creek. And we were out there for the GT Memorial. So for those who don't know, it's Greg Todd's. He's pretty much, I think, the innovator of the no board, who passed away, unfortunately, in an avalanche years ago. But every year, I think, I don't know if they still do it, but they get together and celebrate him by big old backcountry party and a no board race down this clear cut. And yep, I was out there and this is kind of a touchy one, but you know what? I'm just gonna go and say it. Fuck it. So right when I get in that day, my team manager was like to Rick, "I'm really sorry, Rick, but we had to pair you up with Andrew. You got to bunk with Andrew." And I'm like, "What the hell, guys? Like, what did I even do? I just got here." Like, so that kind of bummed me out. And then the next day we go out, we're filming, and everyone's riding this big face and teens there. Like the whole team's there, Ika, Devin, and I'm fucking nervous. Obviously, these are, Devin's my idol, and they're all filming for fucking like real snow, backcountry real snow. So they're a priority, right? And there's me, and I'm definitely not priority, and I didn't feel like I had to be priority. I was quite content with just watching these guys see how they do it, And so everyone does their run, and they're like, "Which run are you going to do, Jeeves?" I'm like, "Well, I guess the only fucking one left that's massive and I'm probably going to die on, And so I tried it and I failed miserably. And everyone's kind of called me a hazard a little bit, which I probably was. You don't want to get hurt where the fuck we were because, but someone should have told me not to fucking do that. Like, you're supposed to be my mentors. Where the fuck you at? You just want to I felt like that trip, they were like, something was up. I felt like the world was against me that trip. So that happened. I fucked that up. I kind of, sheepish in my little shell, and we're going down. And Devin's hitting, he found a little step down to hit, and I'm chilling on my snowmobile, and Vitaly's like, you should go up there and hit that with Dev. I'm like, "No, I'm good." He's like, "No, go up there and hit that with Dev. He wants to hit it with you." And maybe he was pushing me, but at that point I was fucking tired, unhappy, miserable. My mental wasn't good. I felt like a fool. I really didn't feel like I should have not have been there. I felt like that's the big league shit. Like I wasn't ready for that. Anyways, I'm like, "Oh, Anthony says I should go up there, so I'll go up there." And Devin, he's like, "We got a Rochambeau for it." I'm like, "No, you can go." He's like, "No, you got a Rochambeau." I'm like, "Fuck, dude, I'd just go. Like, why don't you just go?" Like, I won the Rochambeau, so I have to go. He's like, "What are you gonna do?" And it's Devin Walsh, so I'm like, switchback 3. Like, dude, so embarrassing. I go drop, switch half a backflip stale fish, like on my head, bombed out the fucking landing.
Oh, that feeling must have been fucking bad.
After all that shit before, and then I get to the bottom, Anthony was like, you should really apologize to Devin. I'm like, okay, this is getting to be too much. You know, like, what the fuck? I didn't even want to I didn't care to hit it. Like, I want Devin to get a trick I want him to win this contest, the real snow thing, you know? Like, I don't want to interfere with these fucking guys, you know? Especially, like, they're doing the X Games real snow. It's obviously very important to them. And, so after that, we go and we're going for dinner. And I think, fucking Spine of God there, I think Teen laced a good line down Spine of God. He did, and it was sick. And we go for dinner, and they give him a DC ring. And, you know, like, I'm just going to be honest, like, I kind of felt like, well, you know, I did have a couple good parts. Like, by all means, I don't think I should be pro. But I kind of felt like they were just handing these motherfuckers out. Because, like, I didn't see any kind of big parts from Teen before. Just because he laced fucking Spine of God. You know what I mean? So there was definitely some jealousy. And then, like, when he came to Canada, he stayed with me. Lived in my house and all that shit. And I love Teen, don't get me wrong. Like, he definitely deserved it. He's a wicked rider, all that shit. But I was definitely a little bit, you know, bummed out from the day. It's a really shitty day for me. So far, the trip's just fucking shit. And Teen gets a ring. And you know what? I'm not, like, bummed. I'm stoked. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Okay, let's get some drinks. Order us a bunch of shots. And then the team editor said something like, we got to ride tomorrow or something like that. You know, it was a celebration. Buddy's pro. Like, we could have some drinks. You know, I was feeling very on edge, so I definitely wanted to have some drinks.
And your personality in that situation, I'm imagining you're
I was like crawling in my fucking skin. And then, like, Ika and I don't think really ever vibe too much, and I think he'll say the same thing, you know. I think just our personalities clashed, you know. And I think I called him a bitch at the dinner table, and then Devin slapped me in the face, and that was like, yeah, that was, you know, I might have deserved it, but yeah, after that I just like, I looked at Rick and I just started tearing up, and I just ran to the bathroom. I think, and started crying. And then they had a payphone there. So I called my girlfriend at the time from the payphone, crying like a little baby. You know, it was a big deal to me at the time, for sure. Because at that point, I kind of knew the gig is up, you know. And then we go back into this little cabin where everyone's looking at footage. And I walked in, and it was definitely some vibes, you know. Like, there was some shit went down. Yeah, I had
it was awkward for everyone.
Probably, yeah, everyone, yeah. And probably like the worst day of maybe my life. And I just was stuck there. You know, like, I still have to do like fucking the rest of my trip there and put on a chipper old face and act like I didn't just cry in front of my idols and shit. Or get slapped in the face by my idol. So, anyways, finished the trip up, and I'm driving back with Anthony, and he looks at me, and he's like, I hate to say it, Jeeves, but you might just not be cut for this industry. And that always hit home.
Yeah, especially hearing that from Anthony. Like, he's always been, like, in your corner.
Yeah, in my corner. And, like, and I love Anthony so much. I have so much respect for him and Devin and even Ika. Like, we're just, you know, and DC, like, this is in the past, you know. I'm just talking shit right now, telling you how it is, and that's how it is. So, shortly after that, I get home, and I think it was Nick Olson that called me and was like, I tried, you know, I tried to keep me around, but I think that was That was it for me. Yeah.
What do you think when something like that happens? Like could you digest it, or is it one of those things that like the next day you're like, holy fuck, what did I just do?
Oh yeah.
Or were you just
Big.
like, oh fuck it, I never got along with this team anyway, and just like,
Well,
who cares?
all my eggs were in that basket, so I knew then and there that was probably the end of my career. Because I knew that I was head to toe DC. People talk in the industry. We both know that it's a small industry. You know, I already had kind of a bad reputation at that point. Yeah, I just kind of cashed in my chips, and I mean, this is no disrespect to Dinosaurs Will Die at all, but I knew that I had a place there. I always had somewhere to go to, and that's exactly where I went. I just wanted to be happy. I didn't want to do anything I didn't want to anymore, and I knew that I could get that from Jeff and Sean. They're the best to me, and all they ever cared about is if I'm happy. So, you know, and it is really nice to be back on the original.
Your first sponsor, really?
Yeah, you know, so, and I've been with them ever since. I am riding a dope board right now, but that's just because I wanted to switch it up. You know, I'm still Dinosaurs for life. But Brocklebank happens to be one of my best friends too, and E-Man. So, yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Like right now, I kind of just get to hop around and you know, there's no strings attached. Like I'm just doing what I love, really. Like, yeah.
I can't even...
I just want to say one thing. Like, Devin's a great guy. Ika, I'm sure, is a great guy. I didn't really even get to know him that much. Nick Olson from DC. Like, my time on DC wasn't all shit, dude. I got to travel the world, and there's so many good times too. But just nearing the end there, I think with the market crash too, like 2008, being back paid like 6 months and all that shit adding up, and I just felt like I was where do I stand? Am I on the Canadian team, or am I they were marketing me on the US team, but I get paid through Canada, but I get a substantially less than everyone else on the team, but yet they still expected me to go out and film, but I had no money to go do that. So it's kind of like, you know, did they expect me to have like mom and dad's fucking credit card? Fucking no, I'm not from money. You know what I mean? I was relying on that money to go out and do my job. So there's a bunch of factors that came into that, which is, it's really unfortunate it ended the way it is, unfortunate that it ended the way it did. But, I mean, look at them now. But what's DC doing now? Like, they've tried a couple of times to bring a team back or whatever.
Yeah, I don't
know what the fuck happened. But like at one point, it was like when I rode for them, it was like this shit. So I don't know what the fuck happened, but.
I really like how you navigated that. It was very, very mature, you could say. Like, you didn't throw anybody under the bus, but that's what happened. And it was nice to hear it from your perspective as like a young kid trying to navigate this. And at the time, like,
that was the worst day of my life, dude. That was Devin, like, and then you know what? Devin and I didn't really talk for a long time. And then I think I was on my way home to Bralorne, and he was at the Hurley, and we ran into each other, and he stopped me and was like, hey, I just want to apologize to you. Like, you know, and I think at that time I was like, fuck, whatever, dude, fuck you. But like now, you know, I think it just hurt just because I was his fucking biggest fan for sure. Like, you know that.
I mean, even I did a podcast recently with Dev, and we said the most underrated rider or whatever, and he said Jeeves immediately.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
And he's ridden with everybody. And you got to know that like
he actually said that to Eric too, like the top 3 riders or something, and I was 3rd. So I mean, like, that just means the world to me. I wish that I would have made him more proud, like, but he had like, I feel like Ika was his little minion, you know what I mean? And like they
were a duo, and you didn't get along with Ika.
I didn't get along with Ika.
Totally.
You know, which is unfortunate because I wanted so badly to be ripping with those guys, but
It was like, I don't know, like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, and you're beefing with Snoop, and Dre's just like, it is what it is, dog. You know what I mean? Like Snoop's fucking, he's rolling with me, dude.
There was a time, I think, when I was there for Devin's half cab. Because you're not going to say switch fronts on 180, right?
I know.
Yeah?
I know. I've been trying to kind of like push for that, but like I know it's
switch
not going to change.
One.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was there for Devin's switch front one on Witch's Tit.
Damn.
Yeah. I was there for that, and then I'm like, what do I do? He's like, well, there's a sick jump there, and he helped me build like a jump, and I actually went right into a tree. I don't know if you can find that clip.
The back seven.
Back seven, and I smoked it, and I smoked the tree, and but I remember him commenting on my boots because I rode for DC, but they didn't send me anything, so I had these boots, and the laces were broken, but I used duct tape, so I was riding with duct tape DC boots, and he was like, "What the fuck?"
He's like,
DC.
You're like, I'm on the Canadian side / American side, so nobody takes care of me.
I get hand-me-downs from the U.S.
I mean, we definitely had some good times. We both rode for DC together for a hot minute, and I'll never forget when we ordered the surf and turf and got yelled at.
Oh my God. See, that's what I'm talking about. I was the guy, right?
What a psychopath, dude.
See, fuck that guy. See what I mean? There was like probably every 6 months a new fucking team manager, I felt like. And I remember we were doing the DC Ride My Gondola tour, fucking or whatever it is. Shout out Logan Hobrick. And then I was back paid like 8 months or something ridiculous, and we're on a fucking DC trip, and I think I was just pissed off. I didn't like that team manager, and I was like, ordered the surf and turf, and he's like, how are you gonna pay for that? I'm like, you, as soon as you fucking pay me my money. Or something like that. I was kind of, at that point, I was kind of getting fed up with it, you know? Because you know how I am. Like, I'm nice until I feel like I'm wronged a little bit.
Or pushed into a corner.
And I snap a little bit.
Yeah. And you're, I would say, somebody who, I mean, given the fact that you definitely had some sort of substance abuse, there's definitely like, your personality could go from like being really fun to like, if you push me into a corner, I'm going to snap. Like,
and
you know
also
what I mean?
growing up too, like growing up where I grew up, the people I was hanging out with, like those were fucking hardcore dudes that didn't really take shit.
Yeah, totally.
So
you had a line.
I had, and my mom too was, she was a hard ass. Like, know your worth, and don't take no for an answer. Like you know what I mean? Like,
totally.
Fucking stand up for yourself. So unfortunately, it doesn't always work out to your advantage, but I mean, at the end of the day, I do feel like I did stand up for myself, and maybe it was taken the wrong way, but maybe this podcast would help clear some air.
I think that you navigated that perfectly. Like, that's a really complex issue, and there's a lot of moving parts to that, and there's a lot of layers to that whole issue that aren't uncovered, and it's only one side. And you don't sound like somebody who's being like, poor me, I don't take any accountability for my actions. You're just like, I take full accountability for my actions. But this is what it would have felt like to look up to somebody and go on a trip and get pushed into a corner and fall in front of your heroes twice, and then be stuck in a remote place with them, all knowing that they have a full energy against just you. Like, that would have been fucked.
Yeah, just like, it makes my skin crawl just thinking about it. So, yeah.
Yeah. But in their defense, it's like they had their preconceived notions about you based on probably other people saying things about you and not really giving you the full chance.
For sure.
To get
but
to know
at the same time, like, I didn't really feel like there was any mentorship for me.
There wasn't back then. It's like sink or swim vibes.
I didn't have anyone. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I can't really recall anyone taking me aside and be like, "Hey, man, like, you're kind of fucking up," or like maybe lay off the sauce or whatever. I honestly can't.
Damn. And that would have went a long way, probably, or at least you would have appreciated it.
And I had a lot of fuck ups. Like there was one time in Vancouver, I'm not even going to get into that. No, that's another story.
I remember that one.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's exactly when you need mentors in your life.
Yeah.
You know
and
what I
Devin
mean?
actually helped me out a lot with that story, the Vancouver story. Yeah, he had my back. So that's sick.
Totally.
Shout out Devin Walsh, man. I fucking love you, dude. You're still one of my faves forever and always. Big love, brother.
I think that he thinks the same thing. He's probably just like, that was a super awkward moment, and they think that there's regrets on both sides. But moving along, so DC ends. You dive fully into backcountry though. Like, it's not like you pull away from snowboarding. You start riding dyno, and to me, your backcountry riding over the course of the next 3 years or so almost gets better. Like, you start riding some pretty big lines. It's like maybe the camera work or it's more like homie bro filming than like somebody on 16 or somebody, on some sticks filming you with like a red camera. But like, some of that footage is mind blowing. And
thanks, man.
And you did all that after the support. So you're really just doing it for yourself at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've always loved snowboarding, especially snowboarding in the backcountry. And at that point, I still didn't really feel like I didn't even get a chance to even get a good go at it. It's like I was just some fucking all-terrain, mostly rail rider that his whole life just wanted to fucking figure out how to do the backcountry shit, And so I had to give it a go after that. I wasn't just going to call it quits and then, like, my parents living in Bralorne, what perfect... doesn't get any more perfect than that, And that the type of shit I like to do is like go find something that's never been hit before and maybe just do a straight air or 360 or 720, nothing crazy, just style and like visually appealing. Like, all that shit matters so much to me. Like the spot, like, I want a dead log in there. Like, I don't want just a fucking white canvas of roly-poly hills and nothingness. I want definition. I want to be able to see what the fuck's going on. Like, you know what I mean?
I think that's your skate background coming through, because it's all about the spot, how it looks.
Exactly.
Like, you could film the craziest trick ever, but if you're doing it on a spot that doesn't translate, it's actually almost a waste of time. It's like,
exactly.
Who are you doing that for? It's like, if you front 180 over, like, Trevor Andrew was really good at that in the end of his career. It's like picking things that would translate good into photos or video, and being like, we talked about it quickly there. Kale Zima, it's like, lots of people could back 180 down something that size, but finding the hallway that the filmer films at Fish and you have the right kit on and it's filmed right.
It's everything.
It's
the
everything.
Kit, the filming, the spot.
Brockle's really good at knowing how to push all, because
he watched
that all together.
Yeah, for sure. Especially on the street aspect or the jibbing side of things.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, even just the lifestyles he would pick for the riders. And I think that there's the most recent film, Brown Cinema.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Brock killed with like the video matching with the lifestyles, with the music and like the attention to details. I think that that
was my favorite video of the year.
Oh, for sure.
Was that this year or last year?
This year. Knights of the Brown Table.
Did they win it? There was a vote for them. They won,
I think they won both.
Nice. They should, because that was a great movie.
Yeah, and it was nice to see a little bit more of a diverse soundtrack and not just
absolutely. I'm getting pretty tired of the fucking the screamo shit, and like I like that too. But like everything, like come on, I agree.
Looking back on your career, is there anything that you would change?
I think maybe I would have shut my mouth more and just kind of danced instead of, putting up a fight. Just shut your mouth and dance. Do what they want you to do if you want a longer career. So there's that. I probably, looking back, I wish I never signed with DC just because it's head to toe. I think that just fucking killed it for me. I think that at least if I was with a couple of different other companies, I'd still have, you know what I mean? I could still maybe get some more sponsors, but when you're head to toe for someone and they drop you, it's a big deal. People hear about it. my past and everything. So
It took me years to rebuild. Like, I think I did 3 years after DC to find
find your home.
to find some new things after I mean, it's hard when you do head to toe, you get branded so heavily with that company that
I know.
especially somebody like yourself who at one point you were the before Heldor, you were the poster boy for DC. It was like you and Torstein, and then Heldor came in a little bit later, but like you were all over the world, billboards everywhere. I remember we were going to, when we were in Europe and when we were in Japan, like getting off the plane and seeing DC ads of like Tokyo. We're like, holy fuck, dude, you're massive.
I can't remember that, but I do remember that small little town.
You don't
in
remember
Japan.
being in downtown Tokyo and people like coming up to you being like, you're Andrew Geeves.
I don't remember that.
What?
No.
We have like a photo with these 2 Japanese girls. I do anyway, in my
Really?
folder somewhere, and they like recognized you in downtown Tokyo.
That's crazy.
And
Excuse me.
and maybe it was at one of the resorts you had,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the DC poster or whatever.
At the
But it was in
shop
like
there.
Niseko. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I
dude?
do. I remember that. I thought that was so cool. Yeah, that was.
I just thought
really
you were big
cool.
in North America, and then when we started traveling, I was like, it was cool to see that you were like you had a global reach.
Australia was pretty crazy because I didn't even really blow up at that time. But when I was out there, like when I did the dam ride on that trip, that was crazy because we premiered a sandbox video there. Oh yeah, that's funny. And I guess a fan gave me a hit of ecstasy. And I didn't know what it was. I'll take that, whatever. And signing autograph, my first autograph signing, and I had to get taken out. Like Zach actually brought me back to the place because I was like bugging out. I was like really high, and I just remember I got back to the place. He went back there. He left me there, and with someone watching over me, and they had like a little heater, and I remember just with this blanket, I just chilled under this. Chilled over top of this heater with a blanket. It was so nice. But
Yeah,
anyway,
you're on ecstasy.
yeah, I know. But it was like, that was super cool. And then, yeah, so that goes into the Guthiga thing. I blew it at the contest and I had to do something cool for, you know what I mean? So I kind of
Chalked up the dam ride.
chalked it up.
You're like, time to go big.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the current state of snowboarding?
Shit. I mean, fuck, it's pretty wild. Like for contests, I mean, I don't even know what they're doing anymore. Like it's just huck and grab and spin. I actually don't. Like, if I couldn't judge a contest if I wanted to. I don't know what the tricks they're doing. So that's, but that's contests. I feel like the backcountry shit is pretty dope. I mean, the rail riding's sick. There's definitely some whack shit going on always, but I think that's always just going to be there. You get a couple fucking kooky riders that make it seem cool for the rest and expands the kookiness.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
And
It's
the
just like
kookiness can go viral, so it can have a big impact.
Yeah,
and
one fucking double backflip, fucking Tindy poke or whatever, and could go viral. And next thing you know, I do think this though, and this kind of goes with skating too. I've noticed that a lot of people are spinning big tricks before they can do a good straight air or like some of the simple tricks. They're running before they can walk, kind of, especially with the airbag shit. So yeah, I mean, the fundamentals I think are kind of lacking.
Yeah, I agree. And it's always nice to see somebody that's worked on the fundamentals because you can really pick
You
up
can
on
see
those
that.
things.
Yeah, you can definitely see that. There's nothing better than like a fresh track, straight air, and he just greases it, lands it, and you're like, damn, like that is it. You know what I mean?
Oh, man, we were riding the hill the other day with Stale Sandbeck, and it was first run, and he just rode through it, hit all the jumps, perfect speed on every jump, and just did grabs.
Yeah.
Like tail grab, tweaked out backside, method, absolutely cranked, indie, like, and I was just like, that was, and then the next run was 180s, and then it was 360s, and by the end of the day, he's doing like all of his 10s and stuff like that, but it was like wild to watch him work in like straight air, 180, 360, 540, 720. and he landed everything. And fuck, dude, that guy is.
He's
That
good.
guy, he is good.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Good pop. All of his lines on the takeoff are straight.
Yeah.
As soon as he gets he did a couple of those like melon pokes that you kind of have, and
Yeah.
right at the 360, it's like what the
Yeah, nice. I love those.
Yeah, that's the bear claw we used to when you did the melon and tail grab front sevens.
Yeah.
I used to call it the bear claw.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I called it. The bear claw, yeah.
Front seven, you grab melon, then you grab tail, and then you poke it forward. I haven't seen somebody do that since.
I don't even think I could do that anymore. I think that takes a lot of like flexibility and you got to be like you got to be pretty on it, I think. Cuz for balancing in the air, you know? Like you're just in a ball.
Well, your access just needs to be completely dialed.
Dialed, yeah, exactly.
And
yeah.
so your access might be a little rusty, but fuck, you're one of the kings of muscle memory. Out of everybody I've ever ridden with, you could take like 2 years off and then be like, I still know how to do a back seven. Like you were riding the park the other day and you back seven, like,
yeah,
dude, like most, like
but back
you,
steps to
Belzo,
me are like straight airs, kind of, you know.
Yeah, whatever. You down talk your shit too much. All right, what makes somebody a pro in 2024?
I want to see it all. You know, I feel like snowboarding's lacking that these days. Like there's people that are staying in their rail lane and backcountry lane. Like I like the all terrain. Like I like watching video parts back in the day that had everything in it. You know, so like I like simplicity, style, spot choice, trick selection. Yeah.
I think that's 10 out of 10. Do you think video parts should remain the gold standard?
Man, yeah, I think so, for sure. And that must be so hard for you guys to, I don't know, like with everything going on like Instagram and like, you know, you just want to fucking post that shit up and get a few likes and get that clip high, dude. Oh, shit.
I mean, if we stray away from snowboarding, before I ask you 10 questions, you've since started a business.
Oh, yeah.
Doing some hedging.
Hedge
as
trimming.
well as in your spare time, a lot of painting, a lot of art.
Yep.
Maybe touch on those two chapters or new chapters of your life. I mean, you've always been doing art, but
yeah, not to
one's business, one's pleasure.
Yeah, a little business pleasure in there. So I mean, I threw out my back. I did stonemasonry. I went to school for stonemasonry when I moved to Ottawa like 6 years ago. I was a second-year apprentice, and I joined the union. And I thought I'd be getting into like stonework, and that's the creative side that I really like to that whole business. But when you join the union, it's a lot of just commercial bricklaying, you know, and which is all good, whatever. I don't mind fucking laboring, but it's really hard work, and you're filthy, you're sore, you're tired. You don't get to. It's not like you're coming home and you're going for a bike ride or going skating after. You're fucking dusted. Like your weekends, you're just like, I'm resting, you know, like I'm not going outside, like. And then I joined the union, and that was all good. But I fucked up my back. I threw out my back really badly, dude. And it was so gnarly. Like I was pissing into a cup, and my girlfriend was having to fucking wipe my ass and shit. Yeah, I couldn't even get out of bed, and I'd have to flop off the bed, and it was hardwood floors. So I'd throw a blanket on the ground, and then I'd just slide around the house. You know, it was really shitty.
Pinched nerve? What was it? Compressed disc?
I don't know. I was out for 2-3 weeks, like severely. And then I took 2 weeks off. So I was out for like a month. I get back to work, and then first day back or second day back, I think. It was like starting to snow out. I remember that. And I was on the wall. Finally, you know, they put me on the wall. I was laying a brick, and boom. It really sucked for me because I'm so tall. And a lot of the people, when they put the planks up to work off on the scaffolding, it's to their size, and you got to be laying like, you know, if you're laying bricks, you don't want to be like fucking laying them up here. They want to be at eye level, right? So if I'm working with someone that's fucking way down here, I'm way up here, and I'm crouched in the scaffolding, you know, I can't bend. So I'm bending and twisting and lifting and all this shit that you're not supposed to do. And I fucking threw out my back again. And then all my friends were hedge trimming for this guy, Mark. He owns a company there called the Hedge Barber. And I'm
Nice name.
I'm like, what the, like these guys are killing it. Like getting to skate every day, working in their t-shirts, like getting paid for full days if they get all the work done. So I just hit him up and I was like, yo, man, do you think I could just like tag along for the day? Like, you don't have to pay me. I just want to see what you guys are doing. And I was like, holy shit, like what a joke, you know, like not
In comparison.
You know? And I was like, okay. I'm like, sign me up. I'm fucking down.
You're like,
So I started doing that for like a year and a half. And it's not that hard work, but I mean, like you are up a 16-foot ladder, an orchard ladder with like, you know, with a piece of machinery that could definitely do some damage to you if you fall off, you know, like, so there's things to it. It's not like you're just walking around ground level all day trimming. Super easy. There's, you know, but to me, that's nothing, you know, after everything that I've done and, you know,
you're comfortable with
yeah,
that,
I'm just
that
comfortable.
risk tolerance.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
like, yep, sign me up.
So I did that, and then he was paying me super good, man. It's funny, like I was, so when I worked for the union, I was getting paid I think like $23 an hour. So check this out, $23 an hour. But if I had 4,000 hours, I could go, like they just use me for a cheap labor, right? So I'd be doing all the fucking work that a laborer getting paid $43 an hour in the union would be doing. A mason tender for $23. So once I found that out, I'm like, fuck. I tried to join the labor union, but I was short on hours and then I needed to work. So I started doing the hedge thing. So eventually I seen how much my boss was making because he had the numbers all lined up. He was like, if he's got 6 crews out there and he's doing like $1,600 days each crew, a lot of fucking money, dude. And like, I know how long it takes to trim a certain, like a $600 job, not very long. If you could easily do like, if
you nail the art form and you kind of
it's pretty straightforward. Like there's some cool ones, like a really overgrown hedge. We call it a restoration. So you're pretty much just like giving it a shape and size. And then you're letting it grow in, and over the next couple of years, it'll fill in and to be a nice, beautiful hedge. But yeah, I'd seen how much he was making, and then I have a friend back home that came into some money, and he was like, "Let's do this." So we got a truck and all the stuff we need: truck, trimmer, a couple ladders, all the, you know. It's not really too much stuff. You have to initially.
The initial investment to start the business isn't that much.
Exactly. So it's kind of sick, and so last year was our first year doing that. And I was pretty proud. We did pretty good. And that was like in the state I was in, like, you know, able to work and everything at a 50% capacity, like I was saying earlier on. So I'm super excited for this year, man. Like my skateboarding is going to be way better. My life's going to be way better. I'm not going to be hungover or tired for work and be able to come home and go skateboarding. I have plans to build this DIY spot that I'm really looking forward to. So like, you know, like I'm just stoked, man. Like I'm looking forward to it. Like I'm really enjoying life the way it is now. Just like early nights painting.
That's really good to hear. I feel like most addicts would struggle with the boredom in day-to-day activity.
I do, man. Like that's why I'm kind of looking forward to going back to a city, because if I want to go swimming, I'll go swimming. Like there's fuck all to do up in Bralorne, you know?
Do you think it'll be easy to navigate your trigger points from like people being like, let's party? Like, because everyone knows you there as a partier?
Everyone knows that I'm gone, and I've made it very clear to even some of my really good friends that unfortunately, just considering the circumstances, I'm not going to be able to hang out outside of skateboarding. So if you want to go skate, we'll go skate. But you know what? Like if I'm in an environment where I have something to do, I'm okay. But it's when I start to feel uncomfortable or I'm bored.
Yeah.
You know, but living in a city, there's so much shit to do. you know, and between work, like I work so much, especially with the new business, I'm always out. So between that, skateboarding, and family, like shout out to Kat and Alistair. I love you very much. That's my girlfriend and my stepdaughter back home. She's actually turning 8 on on the 23rd. So I wish I could be there for that, but I won't be able to make it. But yeah, I just think between the job and skateboarding and family, I think that I'll be good. And I know, you know, like I know not to put myself in a position where I can't get out of.
Totally.
You know, because I have been around drugs and alcohol since. I'm not asking all my friends to fucking
Hook it up.
Not hook it up, but to stop drinking in front of me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be that party pooper, but I also don't really want to be around that shit anymore either. Totally. It's like, because there's still like my brain being like, I want to blast a line right now and fucking slam a beer.
Totally. I mean, your willpower is only so strong in comparison to the chemical compound that is like, it's stronger than most people's willpower. The vast majority of people's willpower. That's why it typically wins.
And I think that'll always be there. But like, I think about the relapse and how I felt the next 3-4 days after I was not good, you know, and I have dealt with crazy depression before, you know, like, you can, you know, like it. So I don't like that feeling anymore. I don't like being hungover. I don't like.
You've seen both sides. The most fun you could have partying ever, and you've seen the darkest fucking pit.
Yeah, and I just like
the pendulum swing is way too real for drugs. I like the middle consistency.
Yeah,
it's like
dude,
you can't be too happy, but it's just a
balance,
mellow pendulum swing.
The fucking balance, like it's super important, man. You got to have balance in your life. Like I look at my life, and for the past like long time, it's been a roller coaster ride of emotion and chaos and
full commit on the party.
Just fucking, just pretty much partying like you're gonna die tomorrow, you know, all the time, just all in. Like, so I've seen both sides and I've done them. Like, I've definitely done the partying, and I don't know, man. I'm 30, I'm gonna be 34 in May, and I'm pretty over it. Like, I want things to go smoothly with my relationship, and how is that gonna happen? Like, what's more important, pretty much, is my relationship. If my relationship's the most important, then fucking figure it out. You know, what's damaging your relationship? Well, is maybe going out on a fucking 2-day bender is not going to help the fight that you and your girl just had the night before. You know, so like there's so much shit, you know, and I don't know. Like I wish I could sit here and tell you like, that's it, man, I'm done. You know, I am done. In my mind, I'm done. But like, look what happened the other day. I relapsed. All I know is that I'm committing to this, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes, however many fucking times it takes to get it right. I'm not giving up, you know, and snowboarding helps with that shit. Like, snowboarding is my medicine, skateboarding is my medicine. It's, to be honest, they're my original drugs, you know, my true loves.
And they don't let you down. They do every once in a while with an injury or something, but there's a lot to learn from that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like downtime from an injury from the sport you love, I feel like is almost like a time of reflection, where like downtime from a drug is actually downtime. Like you're spiraling.
Yeah.
And the spiraling depths that a drug, a chemical compound, can put you in is a really dark place that most humans aren't meant to be at. Like we're just not meant to feel those things. That's the reason why they're drugs made in a lab. And it's like the high is so real and the low is just as real. And it's like, I don't think the human mind is meant to like go through those highs and lows. Like,
no, man, it's a recipe for fucking, for, you know, like there was a couple of times where I was, you know, I had to call a friend to drive me to the hospital because I didn't feel, I was scared that I was going to hurt myself, you know, just because of the downs, the fucking, the lows the downs are so down, dude, you know, like it's just not, I don't ever want to go back to that shit, you know, like I just want a happy fucking balanced life. Sure, your day might not be the best day,
No,
but
it's going to be boring.
It's going to be better than that day for the fucking, you know what I mean?
Totally.
I just can't do it anymore. Like my brain's like shutting down from the chaos and the stress. Like I just want a relaxed, chill life. I want to enjoy my job. I want to wake up in the morning. I want to make coffee, smoke a joint, fucking, you know, kiss my girl, see you later, go to work, come back, take the kid out for a fucking bike ride.
Long day of work. Your favorite song comes on the radio on the way home. Sun is beaming through the glass door on your hand, and it feels nice, and you can enjoy that. And
she's at such like Alistair's at such a fun age, like 8 years old, and she's like such a ripper, you know. I took her, like I brought her out skiing. I taught her how to ski. I taught her how to ride a bike, and skateboarding too. She always comes skateboarding. Like I bring her out to spots with me. Like it's so cute, dude. Oh my God. So she knows good spots from hanging out with me. So we'll be driving and she'll be like, oh, look at that ledge there, you know? And she's found me a couple spots for real. And like, I'll get her to wax the ledge for me, and I'll bring her bike, and she'll like I'll be filming a line, and you'll just see Alistair cruising on a little bike in the background. So she really is something else. And I do want to say, like, Kat, I fucking love you so much. And thank you. Thanks for being there beside me through all this, you know? So I appreciate you.
I think we can leave it on that note. I think that's a really good note to leave it on. And I love how much you love that girl, dude. I've heard you speak on, I mean, both of those women, but
she tattooed that.
She did?
Yeah. Yeah.
So sick. Here, hit that camera.
Yeah, she did that herself. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So she's a little badass, man. And, you know, I love both of them. I'm super grateful that they're still in my life after, you know, the past little bit of chaos. So I'm happy for that.
Just pat yourself on the back. Know that you're not the person that you've been when you've been hopped up on a substance that's like controlling your brain. Like, you're on a new path right now. So just all I have to say is, because I have lots of friends that are on a similar path right now. I just feel like the one thing they do is they beat themselves up for things that they've done in the past. And it's like, you can't just keep living for today. And today you showed up for Jeeves, and like, just think about, like, even we just did a 3-hour podcast, and the way you navigated this whole thing, the way you're talking about yourself, your loved ones, the past, is like your head is in the right place right now. Like, you are moving in the right direction.
I'm trying, you know, like I'm not trying, you know what? I'm sick of saying trying. I'm doing, you know. Trying is like you get that fucking easy out. Try. I'm fucking doing it, you know, and it might take my whole life, but I'm going to be constantly working on myself from here on out. You know, I don't want to go back to those dark times anymore.
I'm here for it, man. Forever. I love you, dude.
Love you too, man. Seriously, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah.
It's been great.
To wrap this up, I mean, you touched quickly on the setup that you're riding. You're riding a dyno and a dope right now. Is there anybody else you want to give a shout outs to?
Absolutely.
Anybody that's hooking you up with some stuff? Or
yeah, I definitely do. Modest Pete Long always has my back. Great dude, wicked skateboarder, awesome goggles, and the team's fucking killing it right now too, which is awesome. I've watched that company start off from nothing, and it's got some of the best riders, I think, on the team now. Union Bindings.
I feel like they've always had your back.
Yeah. Union. Well, I rode for Fix for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And yeah, while I'm here, fuck it, shout out Jason. I'm, you know, that whole shit. I love you, dude. And you know, I'll leave it at that. But big love to Jason Bros. He helped me out a lot with Fix Binding, so plug Fix Bindings in there too. You know, my apologies for everything that happened between us in the past. You know, I got nothing but love for you, and that's my bad. You know, I take full responsibility for that. And so Union Bindings, Fix, Modest. Pat McCarthy gave me some 686 gear last year, so that was awesome. And Dinosaurs Will Die for life, like for life. Sean and Jeff, like forever, dude. Got it tattooed right here, DWD. And Brocklebank for the dope board, and Salmon Arms for some gloves, and I think that's it. Oh yeah, Jake Kuzik.
Kuzik? Okay, good. I was going to say, like, we'll get you boots.
Jake gave me some boots. So I'm super, thank you, Jake. It's awesome. And they're great. I had his last pair that he gave me for like 3 years. I rock my boots till they're like fucking dusted.
Obviously, you're wearing the Kuziks.
Yeah. Well, I don't actually think they're the Kuziks, but he gave them to me.
Oh, nice.
I was wearing the Kuziks before, but
I don't think he has a pro model right now.
I don't know if he does either, but they're sweet. They're like the regular OG, whatever they're.
Yeah, high standard pro or something.
Yeah. And I hope I don't think I'm missing anyone.
That's all.
Is it?
No, that's good. All right, let's get through these 10 bullet point questions, and then we're wrapped up. All right, these are presented by Skull Candy. You can grab yourself a pair of the Rail wireless headphones. Jeeves, I know you're going to be doing some trimming, so you can just grab a pair right there.
Any one of these?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
The same.
That's great. Thank you, Skull Candy. Thank you, Jody, Airtime. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, big shout outs to them. Official audio sponsor of the podcast now. We're actually just getting some custom made headphones that are in the works. Best style.
He's got it, man. You know what? Oh shit. I really like your style. I know that you're not gonna like that. I'm not gonna do that. I'll pick someone else. But you have good style. It's awesome. But
I was just trying to copy you, dude.
Nicholas Mueller.
Did social media ruin snowboarding?
Half and half.
Good call. Something you know now that you wish you knew when you were younger.
Something I know now that I wish I knew when I was younger. Don't put all eggs in one basket.
I like that one. What keeps you up at night?
It used to be drugs, but now I think I get a good night's sleep now. I don't know. It's been good. What keeps me up? I was pretty nervous for this podcast. That kept me up.
We'll keep it at that. Favorite rail rider of all time?
Louis.
Favorite powerboarder of all time?
Fucking Devin.
Good call. Somebody who's underrated.
Charles White.
Chuck. You hear that one? Chucky.
He should have got. Dude, I was talking to him the other day. He just did a double cork, like second tee.
Yes, first one he filmed the other day.
He's so good. I love his style too. He's most underrated, I think. Never really got a chance.
I think that's probably the best, most underrated boarder we've had. Chuck. He's one of my favorites too. Your favorite tattoo and your worst tattoo?
Oh, yeah, okay. I kind of thought you were going to ask this. All right. So, this tattoo here is like I was coming back from Squamish Music Festival. I was in pretty rough shape, and I heard that song by 9 Inch Nails, My Empire Dirt.
Yeah.
And I was just fucking, I don't know, I had this visual when I was like driving home, and I was thinking about like painting it. And I pictured like this Egyptian like fucking dude sniffing a pyramid of cocaine. And so I like drew it out, and then I got it tattooed, but it's this one here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's my favorite one.
What's your least favorite tattoo?
Shit, man. I kind of like them all.
Good answer, dude. Keep it at that. All right, career highlight.
Maybe going to Spain, I think. I think that was fun for me. I got to go skate Barcelona, and I ran into like a bunch of people I knew there. So
no way.
Yeah.
Didn't you go with Rasman there?
Yeah.
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 What?
Yeah, it was
So
rad.
there's a crazy story out of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we'll save that for another time.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Who's the GOAT?
The GOAT? Like, you know what, dude? I was thinking about this the other day. It's got to be JP Walker. Like, I just think of like how inspired I got watching him snowboard because he could do it all. You know, like he was
Switch back 3, a huge step down,
and he's
back 10,
and he was like the most all-terrain motherfucker there is.
pipe, everything.
Yeah. So I think he's my GOAT, JP.
Good pick. Andrew, thank you for coming on the show. I fucking love you, dude. I've been rooting for you since you've been 12 years old. You were my favorite snowboarder ever.
Thanks, man.
And then I got to live with you. You've inspired all of this, really. In a way, this is like a big part of everything in my life is from you riding at our local hill and having style and, yeah, giving me a hard time, but like I needed it. I was like this clueless farm kid, and you were just like, what the fuck's up with this kid, dude?
Hey, man, we became fucking best friends,
Yeah.
so it's awesome. And
I love you, and I'm so fucking about this road to sobriety, and I'm always here from you, and I think everybody that listened to this show today, you just navigated it really tastefully, and I think there's a lot of people that are struggling with mental health or addiction, but not just addiction pinpointed towards drugs, whether it's video games or sex or gambling.
Yeah.
Like there's all sorts of different ways to be addicted to things, and I think that you just navigated that whole addiction thing gracefully, and I think that there's definitely some people that hopefully are gonna make that move too, just
Yeah.
a day one. You know what I mean? Just a day one move.
And if there's anyone, you know, like I've been struggling with this shit for a long time, and I don't have the answers. I don't know, but I'm still trying to figure all this shit out. But I'm always here if anyone wants to hit me up, you can DM me, and I'll try and give you maybe some advice, or even just sometimes it's nice to talk to a like-minded individual, so that could help too. But yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to the ones you love too. Like I'm so glad that I reached out to my parents and asked them if they could give me a hand, just by like a safe place to live, and so hit me up, you know, and I hope the best for everyone struggling out there. You know, it's not the end of the world. It might seem like it, but the body is a pretty powerful thing, man, and you know, the mind especially. So I believe in you. If I can do it, if I'm doing it, you can too.
Let's leave it at that. That was perfect. Love you, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Love you too, man.
Let's go get some steak.
Yeah.
Peace, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks to all the Patreon members. And tune in next week. Cheers. Peace.
Take care. Thanks for watching my episode. Pretty sick of you guys spending your time watching me out here. So if you did watch it, thank you very much. If not, that's cool either. But peace out for now.